baseball game.
Get the kids to bed for school tomorrow.
It's a great point.
I guess, but I mean, if they speed the game up next year, are we going to go back to 7 o'clock?
That's next year.
That's true.
This year.
Yeah, we're
Jeff.
not. Yeah, we're talking about today.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's go,
true.
Jeff. Clean it up.
All right. What difference has Rob Thompson made to this Phillies team, Eric?
They're winning.
Okay. Next question.
Is that a good enough answer?
That's a great answer.
That's good. What did he bring that Joe Girardi didn't?
I couldn't have been more in the Joe Girardi camp when he came here, having him as a manager in New York. His ability to talk to players, his ability to handle different media obligations that you get in New York, that you get in Philly, the exact opposite of what I thought Gabe Kapler was or is. You know, he was a real, genuine person, and I couldn't be even more excited for what Rob has been able to do. He has been. Kevin, you know it. There's bench coaches that you've had that you're like, that guy is a reason that we are winning also. Not that the manager is hurting you. It's just the bench coach has a different relationship in the sense of he's kind of like your uncle, where the manager has to be your parent. Yeah. And the uncle is like a guy you have confidence in. You can go to him and be like, man, like, this sucks. My dad is always griping at me. But Topper has taken that uncle status and all the street cred he's built up with those guys, young guys, veterans, all that stuff, and rolled it into being a manager and a decision maker. And he's gained their trust immensely through some ups and downs of the seasons. And that's the biggest thing I think that he's done.
We know that Zach Wheeler is scheduled to pitch on Wednesday. In his absence, Bailey Falter's been pretty good. How does Rob Thompson play this with Noah Syndergaard and Bailey Falter? And clearly Zach Wheeler. Zach Wheeler's going to be in the rotation. But what will the impact be on those two arms?
That's a great question. I mean, you have the name, you have the clout, you have the trade, the fact that they traded for Noah, and Noah did really well coming into it. I think you didn't say, like, what are the Phillies going to do? You said, what's Rob Thompson going to do? And I think that's the big thing is I've been in his office, you know, working with the radio. We talk before games and you hear about just how he approaches things, and questions like this come up that we just kind of rap about baseball. And he's like, that decision, that moment where he has to tell Noah Syndergaard he's coming out of the bullpen during the playoffs, if Bailey Falter has to go game 3, or like the next time in the rotation, Bailey's got the next spot in the rotation and Noah's going to piggyback with Wheeler possibly. And he said he's already made those relationships. Okay. He said if he has to come to the point, so Wheeler's throwing tomorrow. If he has to come to the point today, and the first time he approaches Noah and says it at this point, he's like, I can't make a good decision no matter what I do, because I haven't made that relationship. And so it's a concerted effort by Topper to have those relationships to be able to make these decisions. And I think it's very similar to what Schneids is doing up in Toronto. Right. Schneids has been with those guys in the bushes. He was grinding it out in, terrible spreads in Double-A. He was, he's on the backfield in instructs with these guys. There's different kind of street cred when you have a guy that has been where you've been and will walk a mile in your shoes.
That's Eric Kratz, former MLB catcher, now radio analyst for the Phillies. You can catch the whole interview on the Blair and Barker podcast feed. Pretty good chat if you haven't heard the whole thing. Tomorrow, I believe Jamie Moyer, former MLB pitcher for the Phillies, he'll join the guys. So another 6:45 p.m. Eastern start tomorrow. Maybe we'll play some of that interview for you tomorrow as well. Before we get you over to Ben Wagner for the call of tonight's game, one more piece of audio. Blake Murphy, who does a phenomenal job with Jays Talk Plus. If you haven't already heard it, he had Joe Siddle, Jay's TV analyst, and Chris Black, Jay's TV producer, on for their weekly segment. Today, they decided to focus in on tonight's Jay's starting pitcher, who is none other than Ross Stripling. He has been terrific all season long. He has been as consistent as they come. Let's hear Blake, Joe, and Chris discuss the season of Stripling before he makes another start tonight in Philly.
How much has your opinion on Ross Stripling's place in this rotation changed over the course of the year, and where he factors in for these big decisions ahead?
Well, how about the fact that we're even having this conversation about Ross Stripling? If you'd have told me this when I was in Florida during spring training, I would have thought you were crazy. It's remarkable where he's come. Like, not only filling in for Ryu when he was injured, but then really taking it and running with it. I would never honestly have predicted this. I thought I saw Ross Stripling as a very solid major league pitcher, plays a great role because he can be that swingman from the pen to the rotation and give you some innings and just be that valuable piece, but not a star by any means. And he is pitching like a star, and he is a star on this team right now. Way back when he started filling in for Ryu and was pitching very well, I made the comment a few times. I said that, Ross is not the most valuable player on this team, but he's the most valuable player on this team. He is, that's the role he played, the way he has filled in. So it's remarkable. And I think just the stuff. I mean, I didn't think he could utilize his 4 pitches as effectively as he is. And the way he's tinkered a little bit with the fastball and the way he uses the top of the zone so well, and the changeup is just otherworldly right now. So, yeah, I didn't see this coming. I'm not sure the Blue Jays did. If they did, good on them. But I did not see this happening. Didn't think this would be the conversation. But it is a great one.
Chris, Joe just mentioned there working up in the zone a little bit more than maybe he expected, a little bit more effectively than maybe he expected. I know that that's something you've kind of had an eye on, because one of the sticking points with Ross Stripling is, well, if you have all this great secondary stuff, you tunnel well, you sequence well, how far can you go without a high-end four-seam fastball? And what you found, I think, is that he could be a little more effective with that fastball than the fastball might suggest on its own merits, based on how and where he uses it.
Yeah, I've been looking at a few different places of how Strip is using his pitches. And one of the things that stands out is not only is he throwing the four-seam fastball less off, kind of similar to Barrios, the Barrios conversations we've had in the past. The four-seamer, it's the pitch that gets hit the hardest for him. Again, we've had this conversation. You can't throw it. You got to throw it. But what Stripling has kind of learned, or what he's kind of been effective with, is just because he doesn't mean you need to throw it right over the plate. So he's learned how to put it in places where it causes the least amount of damage. So it's a lot of pitches right up at the top of the zone. It induces swings, but also it's setting up everything else. Everything else, this is a term to borrow, from the pitching ninjas of the world, but off of those pitches, whether it's he's facing a lefty and he wants to throw a changeup that looks like that fastball, or whether he wants to throw a curveball that starts up at the top of the zone and drops in. He really understands what his pitches do, and he understands his strengths and weaknesses really well.
Blake, I just got to mention this real quick. From my perspective, what Chris is saying right there, it's amazing how the game has changed over the years, especially by pitching up in the zone, because I remember my days as a catcher, when we elevated a fastball, it was just to do it like 1-2 or 0-2 and to change the plane and to go back down. But now more guys are pitching up there, and I think Ross is a perfect candidate, what you're talking about there, Mike.
That is Joe Siddle and Chris Black on with our own Blake Murphy, who, again, if you haven't checked out Jays Talk Plus, Blake does such a good job with it. It's available on the Jays Talk podcast feed, wherever you grab your favorite podcast. Ross Stripling has been so good this year. Just can't be understated. We've discussed the idea of who your top 5 Jays MVPs have been this season. You can put Vladdy Jr., Springer, Bo Bichette has crept back in there this month, Kirk, Manoah, and Gosman always in contention throughout the season. But relative perhaps to expectations, no one grabbed you by the scruff of your neck and forced you to pay attention as much as Ross Stripling have. He has been so good. I can't wait to have even more minute contract discussions about Stripling's next deal. It sure seems at age 33, even, which is where he'll be by the time next season starts. His birthday's in late November. He's going to secure a huge bag of money. Steven Matz, for example, got $11 million from the Cards. We've seen the Jays hand out $12 million per season to Tanner Roark. It's going to be a lot for Stripling, and I hope he stays in Toronto for the not too distant future. Okay, let's get you over to Citizens Bank Park In the city of brotherly love, Ben Wagner is back. He has the call of Jays Phillies. Ross Stripling, as we discussed, Kyle Gibson in the mound matchup for Philly. Here's our very own Ben Wagner with the call of the game in Philadelphia.
Joe, thank you so much. The Philadelphia Phillies return home out of an off day like the Blue Jays, who traveled to the city of brotherly love after taking 2 out of 3 against the Baltimore Orioles, a very successful run through the month of September so far. Meanwhile, for the Philadelphia Phillies, not going so great. Did not play well in Atlanta. I talked with manager Rob Thompson before the ball game today. He thought that overall he liked the approach at the plate. The Phillies just weren't getting big hits like they have been for the most of the summer. An 80-66 Philadelphia Phillies team, an 83-64 Toronto Blue Jays team with these starting lineups for John Schneider and Rob Thompson are brought to you by Timber Mart. We're not only going to get everything you need for a home improvement project, you'll get air miles too. And check out the project of the month at timbermart.ca. It's filled with tips and trends to make the most of your living space. Canada's building center is Timber Mart. Blue Jays on the road. Dropped their finale against the Orioles 5-4 on Sunday. They've got George Springer in the leadoff spot. Vladimir Guerrero Jr., the first baseman, he's batting second. Bo Bichette is the major league leader in a number of categories. Here in the month of September, he's back at short, batting third. Alejandro Kirk will do the DHing tonight and bat fourth. Matt Chapman will hit fifth at third base. Teoscar Hernandez tries to get it going out of a very tough homestand. He's in right field, batting sixth. Raimel Tapia in front of the short wall and left. Danny Jansen will do the catching and bat eighth. Kevin Biggio, the second baseman, bats ninth for Toronto. Kyle Schwarber, Rhys Hoskins, Bryce Harper, 1, 2, and 3. JT Realmuto, Alec Boehm, Bryson Stott, and the meat of the order for the Phils, Gene Segura, Brandon Marsh, and Matt Vierling will round out the card. Phillies, Blue Jays on an absolutely perfect night to play the game here in Philadelphia. Rocking into the windup, the Kyle Gibson right-handed first pitch is swung on and missed for strike one. Oh, and 1 the count on Springer, who's hitting .260 on the season, 21 home runs and 66 driven in. Gibson deals, swinging a line drive out to Marsh, backing up the center fielder. Couple of strides to his left. Springer's retired, and then there's one down. We're in the first inning, being brought to you by Armstrong Bird Food. Bring nature to your backyard with Armstrong. Feeding Blue Jays since 1986. Visit ArmstrongBirdFood.com. 1 up and 1 down, and Vladimir Guerrero Jr. getting a very nice round of applause from the Blue Jay fans that have traveled here to the Keystone State, where the Blue Jays will make it a short trip under the lights tonight with a special 6:45 first pitch, and they'll do it again tomorrow night under the lights at 6:45 before the Blue Jays travel south and open up a 4-game series at the Trop. Gibson, the right-hander's pitch. Vladdy takes a fastball strike on the outside corner, and it's 0-1. Vladdy hit another home run on Sunday afternoon, a solo home run while going 2 for 3 at the plate. His average bumped up to .281. Right-handed batter. And the pitch. Swinging a ground ball, bounding its way towards the middle of the diamond. Flagged by Stott, ranging far to his left. Airmails the throw into the camera well. And Vladimir Guerrero Jr. will reach first base. Vladdy stung the ball on 2 bounces up the middle of the diamond. Stott then airmailed a throw that hit a camera operator. On the far end of the Philadelphia Phillies dugout, a man running the first base camera was absolutely tagged. He went a long way to get the ball, did a pirouette in the middle of the diamond while fading into the outfield grass. And that ball went right over the lens of the camera. He went a long way to get the ball, did a pirouette in the middle of the diamond while fading into the outfield grass. And that ball went right over the lens of the camera and hit the camera operator right on the front of his cap. I hope that he's okay. One down, one on. And Bo Bichette, the batter. 1 for 3 with an RBI, a couple of walks on Sunday, and that setback against the Orioles. Blue Jays are now 83-64 on the year. The pitch to Bo, swinging a foul back for strike one. If you look at the standings, and they're brought to you by Bet365, the world's favorite sports book, the Blue Jays kept a 1-game lead over the Tampa Bay Rays, who were knocked off and blanked by Houston yesterday. Rays are 82-65. The Mariners kept pace with a win last night rolling over the Los Angeles Angels 9-1. They're 81-65. Bo takes a strike on the inside corner, and it's 0-2. So in the American League wild card race, the Blue Jays right now would take sole possession of the wild card, and they would host the first 3 games and all 3 games of the postseason in that wild card scenario. Rudder at second, 1 out. The pitch to Bo. Just missed, down and in. 1 ball and 2 strikes on Bichette. Lots to play for from a Philadelphia Phillies perspective, a club that has lost 4 in a row, swept by Atlanta through the weekend, entering 80-66. Atlanta has a firm grip, and still thinking about the division with the Mets. But if those 2 teams seesaw, they get a big lead in the wild card in the senior circuit. Swinging a foul off at the plate by Bichette. Atlanta, 92 wins, 55 losses, an 11.5 game lead in the wild card, leading into play tonight. The Padres have rattled off 3 in a row in the National League and have a half game separating them over the Philadelphia Phillies, who then have the Milwaukee Brewers still within striking distance, 2.5 games back. But you just question if Milwaukee has enough in the tank. Are they good enough to make a real run? 1-2 to Bichette. Popped him up. Shallow in right field. In comes Matt Vierling, the right fielder. He makes the catch. And there are 2 down. So that's the scenario. It's not a long series, certainly not a significant stop for the Blue Jays. This will wrap up the head-to-head play between the Philadelphia Phillies and the Toronto Blue Jays, who are deemed as natural rivals between the 2 leagues. Was it a natural rivalry? Well, it was back in, the early 1990s when the Blue Jays hung a banner off of Mitch Williams and that tremendous walk-off home run cracked by Joe Carter. Really hasn't been a rivalry since. It's just got a lot of prestige to go along with it. 2 down, runner at second base for Alejandro Kirk. The pitch from the right-hander Gibson. Down and away, that's ball 1. No score, just getting started. First pitch tonight. It was thrown here in Philadelphia at 646. Very comfortable, 26 Celsius, 79 Fahrenheit. Breeze cutting from left to right. Mostly clear conditions above. The pitch. Curveball's low. 2 balls and no strikes on Alejandro. Part of the reason the Blue Jays catching core leads Major League Baseball in average and in on-base percentage is Alejandro Kirk. He's DHing tonight, hitting .295 with 13 home runs and 59 driven in. A very good eye, grabs a ton of walks. That's the reason that the on-base is so high. Gibson deals. Kirk takes upstairs, and it's 3 balls and no strikes. Danny Jansen's in the lineup tonight with Alejandro Kirk. They have split evenly the 26 home runs. Kirk was listed day-to-day going into the weekend with that sore left hip. He's good enough to swing it tonight. Vladdy's at second, the 3-0. Is low, ball 4. A 4-pitch walk. Runners on at first and second. The batter is Matt Chapman. What a homestand he had, going 7 for 26, including a pair of home runs on Friday night. Blue Jays still threatening here in the first. The pitch. Low and away to Chapman. That's 5 straight that missed the zone from Kyle Gibson. Big right-hander missed this start in Toronto because of the vaccination rules and restrictions crossing the border. Learned today that they have been relaxed as of September 30th. That made some ripple effects in the Blue Jays clubhouse. The 1-0 hit high and deep up the left field line. Schwarber gets to the wall, and it is gone. A 3-run home run for Matt Chapman. His 3rd home run in 4 games. And the Blue Jays go long and strike in the first. Number 27 for Matt Chapman. Little doubt, soaring to the bleachers, high above the wall in left field for Matt Chapman. 27th of the season. He matches last year's home run total. And the Blue Jays have a big first already. Now Teoscar. Hernandez takes a strike across the knees. 5 straight pitches that missed the zone. And Matt Chapman made Kyle Gibson pay dearly. The 0-1. Swing and a miss. And it's 0-2. Blue Jays with the long ball. What a summer for Matt Chapman. I mean, all of this has happened in a blaze of glory after a very shaky first couple of months and very much scrutinized by himself. The 0-2. Low and away by Gibson to Hernandez. 1 ball and 2 strikes. For Chapman, he said, I've got to be better. I've got to be better offensively. I certainly have to be better even defensively. This is a guy that's lighting up a potential 4th Gold Glove at third base. The 1-2 pitch. Fastball's inside from the right-hander. Evens count of Teoscar, 2 balls and 2 strikes. 3-0 Blue Jays. Right-hander deals. Ground ball kicks off the top of the mound. Scoots into center field, a base hit. Teoscar snaps his 0 for 6, rolling a single up the middle. And the Blue Jays will bring their 7th man to the plate here in the first inning. Vladdy got an infield single, went to second on a wild throw. A 4-pitch walk with 2 outs. Alejandro Kirk. And the second pitch to Matt Chapman goes into the seats in left. And the Blue Jays have a 3-0 lead in an inning that will continue. Raimel Tapia is the batter against the 6'6", 215-pound right-hander in Kyle Gibson. A 10-game winner, a .445 earned run average. Closed in the stretch. The pitch. Fastball's outside, ball 1. Raimel batting .259 on the year with 6 home runs and 46 driven in. Gibson takes a long look in at JT Realmuto. Now the pitch to the left-hand batter. Sinking liner out to left. Schwarber freezes for a moment, moves to his right. He's got it, and the side is retired. But the Blue Jays flex their muscles once again in the first. They go long for the bat of Matt Chapman, his 27th of the year. Blue Jays in front 3-0 for Ross Stripling, who heads to the hill right after this. With Blue Jays baseball presented by Jack Link's Meat Snacks over the Sportsnet Radio Network.
From Grubhub's glossary, Euphoria, the total bliss of food meeting your mouth and your expectations. As in, one bite of fettuccine sent Kevin into an overwhelming state of euphoria.
Mamma mia, that's good.
Satisfy all your food moods with Grubhub. On time, lowest price, or we'll make it right. That's the Grubhub guarantee. Terms apply. For details, visit grubhub.com/guarantee.
Hasta la pasta.
Ready to pop the question? Let your love sparkle with Blue Nile. Blue Nile has helped millions of couples create their perfect engagement ring. Their easy online tools will let you choose the diamond shape, size, and clarity, as well as setting style. Blue Nile's bench jewelers will then handcraft her one-of-a-kind engagement ring, the perfect ring to celebrate your love. Right now, go to BlueNile.com and use code RADIO to save $50 on your purchase of $500 or more with guaranteed free shipping and returns.
Just like us at Bears Radio, our friends at Office Revolution really get the game. They furnished a global sports marketing agency in Fulton Market that won Crane's coolest offices. They know work is not just about conference rooms. This space has leather couches, bar stools by the tap, and even stadium seating for brainstorming great plays. Office Revolution knows your office represents your culture, brand, and should be a space where the team wants to work. Visit office-revolution.com to see what they can do.
This September, Chicago Gourmet is going Uberboard. Join host Chef Sarah Gruenberg for Prost in the Park, a new Oktoberfest-style event with chef takes on classic German delights, Upa bands, fun cocktails, and delicious craft beer. From familiar favorites to a big collection of local craft breweries, get ready to toast at this Sunday Fun Day on the Harris Theater rooftop at Millennium Park. Prost in the Park, Sunday, September 25th. Tickets at chicagogourmet.org. Presented by Performance Food Service.
Canada's #1 rust protection. Book your appointment today. Ground, protect, maintain, save. What a start for Ross Stripling, already tagged with a 3-0 lead over the Philadelphia Phillies before he faces Kyle Schwarber, Rhys Hoskins, and Bryce Harper, with JT Realmuto in the cleanup spot. Then the big bat of Alec Baum, Bryson Stott, Gene Segura, Brandon Marsh, and Matt Vierling that will round out the order for Rob Thompson. 4-man outfield against Kyle Schwarber, and the first pitch from Ross Stripling tonight is downstairs for ball 1. Matt Chapman giving the Blue Jays a 3-0 lead with his 27th home run of the year. That's how the Blue Jays get started tonight. The 1-0, swing and a miss. One ball and one strike on Schwarber. Schwarber might be the second most powerful hitter in Major League Baseball. The 1-1 popped him up. Left side of the diamond, over the chalk. Chapman swoops in underneath in front of his teammates in the third base dugout, makes the catch, and there's one down, retiring Schwarber, who tonight enters with 37 home runs, 22 behind Major League Baseball's home run leader, and he's second. That is the kind of season that Aaron Judge is having with 59 home runs. As he goes to the Bronx tonight, he will have members of Roger Maris's family in attendance. Roger Maris's son, Roger Maris Jr., and Kevin Maris will be in attendance in New York tonight in case Aaron Judge hits number 60. Here's Rhys Hoskins. Swings at the first pitch, hits it high in the air out to center. Moving to his left, there's George Springer. A couple of pitches and a couple of outs already for Ross Stripling. Blue Jays with a 3-0 lead. Certainly incredible to watch with Aaron Judge and what he has been able to do. Last year, all the talk of the National League was about Bryce Harper. He was tremendous. A Most Valuable Player award in the National League, a Silver Slugger, a Hank Aaron Award. Major League Baseball Players Association named him as the most outstanding player, and he deserved it, hitting .309 with 35 home runs and 84 driven in. This year, took a major dent when he was struck in the hand with his thumb breaking in the middle of June. Harper swings and fouls the first pitch back for strike one. 20 games off the injured list. Still a really good average with 16 home runs and 54 driven in. A .309 clip. Blue Jays at times have played him with a 4-man outfield. Right now they're going with the traditional 3. And pretty even on the diamond. The 0-1. Outside, 1 ball and 1 strike on Harper. Now a little bit more factors into this. One, what do the Blue Jays from an analytical perspective have matching up with the repertoire of Ross Stripling, the swing plan of Bryce Harper? The pitch downstairs with a knuckle curve, missing low, and it's 2-1. But the Blue Jays certainly have gone head-to-head with Harper many times since he signed his mega deal, a 13-year contract with the Phillies. Spring training Cousins, right-hander deals. Stripling hits the top part of the zone, a called strike. That was a gift for the right-hander at Stripling. Harper a little stunned that was called a strike. Backpedals out of the batter's box. This count evens up at 2-2. Into the Wyma 2-2. Popped him up. Shallow and right. Going back Biggio. In comes Hernandez. Teoscar makes the catch on the move. Keeps on trucking with the Phillies retired 1-2-3. And more outstanding returns in a start by Ross Stripling. 3-0 Blue Jays as we go to the second. This is Blue Jays baseball served up by Jack Link's Meat Snacks on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Back to the Grubhub spelling bee.
Word is enthusiastic.
Repeat in a sentence, please.
She was enthusiastic as her Grubhub order of tempura rolls looked and tasted crispy.
Enthusiastic. ENSUSHIASTIC. Enthusiastic.
On time, lowest price, or we'll make it right. That's the Grubhub guarantee. Terms apply. For details, visit grubhub.com/guarantee.
Ready to pop the question? Let your love sparkle with Blue Nile. Blue Nile has helped millions of couples create their perfect engagement ring. Their easy online tools will let you choose the diamond shape, size, and clarity, as well as setting style. Blue Nile's bench jewelers will then handcraft her one-of-a-kind engagement ring, the perfect ring to celebrate your love. Right now, go to BlueNile.com and use code RADIO to save $50 on your purchase of $500 or more with guaranteed free shipping and returns.
Just like us at Bears Radio, our friends at Office Revolution really get the game. They furnished a global sports marketing agency in Fulton Market that won Crane's coolest offices. They know work is not just about conference rooms. This space has leather couches, bar stools by the tap, and even stadium seating for brainstorming great plays. Office Revolution knows your office represents your culture, brand, and should be a space where the team wants to work. Visit office-revolution.com to see what they can do.
Shout out to the faithful fan who knows the entire OK Blue Jays dance routine. Your family's not embarrassed at all, Dad. The Toronto Blue Jays play here. Sportsnet 590 The Fan.
Time for the second inning being brought to you by Miller Lite. Baseball's in full swing, so why not enjoy great Pilsner taste from Miller Lite, the official beer sponsor of Major League Baseball. 90 calories and 3 grams of carbs per 355 milliliters. Must be legal drinking age. Major League Baseball trademarks used with permission. Great to have you alongside. Ben Wagner in Philadelphia. Blue Jays with a 3-0 lead. Kyle Gibson served it up to Matt Chapman. Now he'll deal to Danny Jansen and miss outside with a slider for ball 1. Danny Jansen, Kevin Biggio, and then George Springer, 8, 9, and 1, coming to the plate for Toronto. Long hold by Gibson. Compact wind up, the leg lift, now to the plate. And it sweeps outside. 2 balls and no strikes on Jano. Solo home run on Sunday. Also added a walk, going 1 for 2, and that setback against the Baltimore Orioles. Blue Jays dropped their finale in that series, 5-4. The 2-0. Poured over for a called strike, and it's 2-1 on Jansen. Blue Jays played in their 47th one-run game. 11 on the plus side, 29 wins and 18 losses in those one-run contests. 2-1. Tails outside, 3 balls and 1 strike. Jansen with a wide stance, crouching down. Hands in front of the back right shoulder. The 3-1 pitch. Swinging a high fly ball up the line and left into the twilight. Schwarber trots in. Stott goes out. Schwarber lost it. It lands behind him. Jansen digs for a second. He'll trot in with a twilight double. You had a feeling that at this time of night, that was bound to happen. That was a high fly ball, tight near the line and left. Jansen knew that it should have been an out. He was jogging up the first base line, just kind of meandering in between first and second, lightly tiptoeing his way to second base. And then Stott stopped going back from short. Schwarber was charging in and overran the baseball. Absolutely lost it. Lights are starting to take a grip of the field down below. It's an impressive backdrop here in Philadelphia until the ball goes above the lights. Then it's not so impressive if you're on the field to play. Blue Jays threatening here in the second, leading 3-0. Kevin Biggio serves one to shallow left field. In comes Schwarber again. He can't track this one down. A base hit for Biggio. Rounding third, a stop sign thrown up. Jansen gets the hold sign there from Luis Rivera. And the Blue Jays are trying to manufacture a big second inning. Certainly a little bit of unlucky fortune for Kyle Gibson. The ball that plops in behind the left fielder, and then one served the opposite way off of Kevin Biggio, who beats the shift. Cavan always sees more defenders off to the right side. This time a little chip shot into shallow left. Runners at first and third for the Blue Jays. Nobody out. And back to the top of the card for George Springer. Blue Jays already leading 3-0. Springer's 0 for 1 with a line out to center. Gibson standing tall. Makes a move towards first, follows with a throw, and Biggio's back easily. Last time out against the Marlins for Kyle Gibson, went through 6 innings, allowed 1 run that was earned. He struck out 7 and didn't issue a walk. Phillies knocked off the Marlins 6-1. Big night for Bryce Harper. He had his 100th home run for the Philadelphia Phillies. Springer scalds one into left field, ripping a base hit that'll drive home a run. And it's 4-0 Toronto. Jansen in to score. Biggio stopped at second. RBI number 67 for Springer. And the Blue Jays have a big number early. 4-0. Four runs before a fourth out has been recorded by Kyle Gibson. He's been feast or famine at times. And right now, though, the Blue Jays are feasting on the right-hander. Springer at first. Biggio in front of him at second. Here's Vladdy. Picked up an infield single and advancing to scoring position on a throwing error his first time in. Gibson throws low and away, ball 1. Vladdy with 34 doubles, 29 home runs. The 1-0. Guerrero takes a cutter on the outside corner, called strike 1 to even the count. Vladdy's trying to become the first player in the American League to have 30 or more doubles and hit 30 or more home runs. There are 3 different players in the National League that already have 30 or more doubles, plus 30 long balls. Austin Riley's done it with Atlanta, Paul Goldschmidt on a tear in St. Louis, and then Mookie Betts is having an MVP season in Los Angeles. 1-1, lined off to the right, foul. 1 ball and 2 strikes on Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Nobody out. Runners at first and second. Gibson deals. Vladdy taps it away, foul at the plate to stay alive. 1 ball and 2 strikes on Guerrero. The red-hot Bo Bichette out on deck. Outfield lined up straight away. Anfield sinks back. Segura, the second baseman, slightly shaded towards the bag at second, shortening up the lead of Biggio. Long look back, now to the plate. Swing and a miss. Vladdy's down on strikes. First strikeout for Gibson tonight. 4-0 Blue Jays. And here comes Major League Baseball's leader in hits, doubles, extra base hits, total bases, and RBIs in the month of September. Bo Bichette. He turned the calendar from August into September, forgot about the first couple of months of the regular season, and is now thriving. On base in 17 of 18 played. 9 doubles, a triple, 7 home runs here this month. The pitch. High strike called with a sinker, darting over at 94 miles an hour. This month of September has boosted the season average to 283. 24 home runs for Bo. The 0-1. That's low. Sinker missed, even the count at 1 ball and 1 strike. 24 home runs, second only to last year's franchise record for shortstops in a Toronto Blue Jays season when he bashed 29 of them. Also drove in 102. Currently at 89 RBIs on the year. 0 for 1 tonight with a fly ball to right. 1-1. Ground ball to the first baseman. Backing up Hoskins. He falls down from the seat of his pants. A throw to second to get the out on Springer. A fielder's choice where the Phillies will net one out on a ball that backed up the big Rhys Hoskins. He got his feet tangled a little bit, rocked back on his heels, lost his balance, still had a good enough arm to get it on the fly to the second baseman to erase Springer on the fielder's choice. Biggio will take third base. On the corners with 2 down. Alejandro Kirk, who worked a 4-pitch walk his first time at the plate. Part of a 3-run first, courtesy of Matt Chapman, who's back out on deck. Chapman smashed his 27th of the year. Blue Jays have added 1 here in the second and lead 4-0. Move towards Spurs, hustling back. Bichette on the stand, just in time. Gibson checks on both corners. Pitch to Kirk. On the inside corner, called strike 1. Gibson deals. And the pitch misses low. Blue Jays have seeded off. Fastball, sinker, curveball, slider. All of it from Gibson. .38 pitches, 24 strikes. Ross Stripling got a 1-2-3 first on 9 pitches. Another move to first. Bo hustles back. The 1-1. Kirk fouls it away to the right. Big body of work for Kyle Gibson, who stands tall and lean on the hill. He had one awful start for the Phillies where he lasted an inning and 2/3. He was charged with 7 earned runs. But if you look around 8 overall starts since that July 29th, he's gone 5-1 with a 2.79 earned run average. 6 quality starts out of his last 7. One-two. Ground ball up the middle. A base hit into center field. 5-0 Toronto. RBI base hit for Kirk. He drives home Kevin Biggio. Bichette takes second. Kirk drives home his 60th of the season. And the Blue Jays are all over the big right-hander here in Philly. Toronto has not been fooled at all. 5 runs on 7 hits. And one of the big 7 off the bat of this man, Matt Chapman. Three-run home run back in the first. The pitch. Chapman takes a fastball outside. 27 home runs for Matt Chapman, second only to the 36 in 2019, where he garnered some MVP consideration. That year he batted .249 at the plate with the 36 home runs. Equaled that with 36 doubles and 3 triples. Chapman takes low. 2 balls and no strikes. That season, Chapman posted an .848 OPS, which was actually down from his first full season at the big leagues where he posted an .864 OPS. This season, a .784 on base plus slugging, OPS. JT Realmuto jogs out to the mound. Meets his battery mate on the backside of the bump. So far, an inning and 2/3 have been quite the slog for Kyle Gibson. 43 pitches. A lot of balls put in play. One lost in the twilight. A little fade shot the opposite way to beat the shift off the bat of Kevin Biggio. I'm hoping the Blue Jays tack on 2 here in the second. The 2-0. Chapman, green light, swings and fouls it away to the right. And it's 2-1. Chapman was 7 for 26 in the homestand. The 2 home runs on Friday night. What an announcement for the Blue Jays, bringing in the Baltimore Orioles, who felt like they were in a do-or-die situation. 2-1, popped up, foul ground. First base side, that'll clear the Phillies dugout, land in the seats. And the count's 2-2. Blue Jays would win 2 out of 3 over the Baltimore Orioles, posting back-to-back 6-3 wins on Friday and Saturday. Took a 5-4 setback on Sunday. That was the second of 2 series played during the homestand. Blue Jays went 3-2 against the Tampa Bay Rays. 2-2. Low and away. This with a slider, and it's 3-2. Blue Jays have this road trip that starts in Philly. Another meeting at the Trop against the Rays. Back home, the New York Yankees and Boston Red Sox. That's the final homestand of the regular season. And then the final series of the year is one that was moved from the start of the season after the CBA was negotiated. A 3-gamer in Baltimore. Runners go 3-2. Little swinging chopper, hugging the third base line and then dribbling foul. 3 balls and 2 strikes on Chapman with Bichette and Kirk in motion. $5-0 Blue Jays. Battling away here in the second. Already the 14th man to appear at the plate for Toronto. Kirk and Bichette at the ready. They go 3-2. Swing and a miss by Chapman. He's down on strikes. And the inning comes to a close. 7 men get to the dish in the second for the Blue Jays. 2 more runs on the board. A 5-0 start for Toronto here in Philly. Inning and a half gone by. This is Blue Jays baseball served up by Jack Link's Meat Snacks on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Ready for the next level? Looney Dogs Night.
Back to the Grubhub Spelling Bee.
Word is enthusiastic. She was enthusiastic as her Grubhub order of tempura rolls looked and tasted crispy.
Enthusiastic. ENSUSHIASTIC. Enthusiastic. Woohoo!
On time, lowest price, or we'll make it right. That's the Grubhub guarantee. Terms apply. For details, visit grubhub.com/guarantee.
Just like us at Bears Radio, our friends at Office Revolution really get the game. They furnished a global sports marketing agency in Fulton Market that won Crane's coolest offices. They know work is not just about conference rooms. This space has leather couches, bar stools by the tap, and even stadium seating for brainstorming great plays. Office Revolution knows your office represents your culture, brand, and should be a space where the team wants to work. Visit office-revolution.com to see what they can do.
This September, Chicago Gourmet is going Uberboard. Join host Chef Sarah Gruenberg for Prost in the Park, a new Oktoberfest-style event with chef takes on classic German delights, Upa bands, fun cocktails, and delicious craft beer. From familiar favorites to a big collection of local craft breweries, get ready to toast at this Sunday Fun Day on the Harris Theater rooftop at Millennium Park. Prost in the Park, Sunday, September 25th. Tickets at chicagogourmet.org. Presented by Performance Food Service.
Ready to improve your bottom line? The Room can match you with a top financial analyst.
Trusted by small businesses, startups, and entrepreneurs, The Room's virtual financial analysts are highly trained, vetted through a rigorous data-driven process, and matched to fit your needs. Drive business growth with a virtual financial analyst from The Room. It's like listening to all the financial programs rolled into one. Get started today at trytheroom.com. That's trytheroom.com.
JT Realmuto, Alec Baum, and Bryson Stott will come to the plate against the outstanding work of Ross Stripling. It would certainly spark great conversation around the water cooler, but there would be cases to be made, certainly a lot of them, that this is the Blue Jays MVP. Right here, Ross Stripling. First pitch, Realmuto darts over for a called strike one. 22nd start of the season, his 30th overall appearance. On the heels of his 8th victory of the year last time, knocking off the Rays. Stripling deals. Pitch is low. 1 ball and 1 strike. The Blue Jays were in dire need of some consistency from the rotation, and we're getting it from Yusei Kikuchi. That was a question mark early in the year until he was jettisoned out of the rotation. Hyunjin Ryu was battling some fatigue, not being able to get deep into ball games, and all of a sudden he lands on the IL, and here's Ross saving the day. Realmuto lines one to the gap in right center field. That'll soar between Springer and Hernandez. Check in up against the wall. Realmuto goes the opposite way. He stings a double to right center. First hit for the Phillies tonight. 21 starts this season. A 282 earned run average for Ross Stripling, who has only allowed 14 walks while fanning 91 batters. Knew this season he'd have some spot starts to make. He's very comfortable being in a swingman role once again. But he has absolutely harnessed an opportunity to work himself into the rotation and seized every moment. Alec Baum, the batter, swings and fouls the first pitch back. Strike one. Baum didn't play north of the border. He had dislocated a finger the first time that the Phillies came to Toronto. Averages back up, power down a little bit. He's still trying to get his sea legs in the big leagues, whether or not he's going to be a guy that hits 30 home runs, hits for a low average, or is he going to hit for a high average? It takes away a little pop. Pitch the Baum is on a line out to right field, backing up Hernandez into the warning track, tracks it down, angling to his left. Back at second, tagging and advancing is Realmuto. Line drive the opposite way, handled for out number one. Blue Jays in front, 5-1, or 5-0, with one down and a runner at third. First full run in the big leagues for Bryson Stott. Left-handed hitter. Stripling deals. Up and away, ball one. Stott's 24 years of age. After 3 seasons in Major League camp with the Philadelphia Phillies, he finally cracked the big club. A really good year in between AA and AAA last year. 1-0, swing and a miss. 1 ball and 1 strike. 235 average this season. 26 extra base hits, including 9 home runs with the shortstop. Runner at third, 1 down. The pitch, fouled away to the left, and it's 1-2. Raimel Tapia, George Springer, Teoscar Hernandez evenly placed in the outfield. The diamond sinks back around Stripling. 1-2, way outside. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Stripling from the stretch. A swing and a miss. Stott goes down on strikes for the first punchy tonight for Ross Stripling. 2 away. That'll bring up Gene Segura. Tonight, we'll glance through the out-of-town scoreboard brought to you by St. Louis Bar and Grill. Game on, Canada. Help us celebrate 30 devilishly good years of being your Blue Jays headquarters. Join us for wings, beer, cocktails, and more. We've got all the bases covered. Download the new app or visit stlouiswings.com for more details. St. Louis Bar and Grill, always devilishly good. Pitch to Segura. Sinks downstairs, ball one. We'll be watching the matchup with the Tampa Bay Rays. The New York Yankees, of course, and Aaron Judge flirting with history. Can he reach 60? Held by Ruth and Maris. 1-0. Segura pulls it foul, third base side. 1 ball and 1 strike. Pirates are in the Bronx right now. No score in the second inning with the Yankees and the Pirates squaring off. The Tampa Bay Rays hosting the Houston Astros. It's early, and Houston already on top 4-0 at the Trop midway through the third. Runner at third, 2 down. 1-1, bounced out to Bo. 2 long bounces. Shortstop's got it, guns it over to first in time. The Phillies will strand the leadoff double at third base after a line out, a punch out, and a bounce out. Off to the third, 5-0 Toronto. This is Blue Jays baseball, served up by Jack Link's Meat Snacks on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Baseball is in full swing. Why not enjoy great?
Back to the Grubhub Spelling Bee.
Word is enthusiastic.
Repeat in a sentence, please.
She was enthusiastic as her Grubhub order of tempura rolls looked and tasted crispy.
Enthusiastic. ENSUSHIASTIC. Enthusiastic. Woohoo!
On time, lowest price, or we'll make it right. That's the Grubhub guarantee. Terms apply. For details, visit grubhub.com/guarantee.
Just like us at Bears Radio, our friends at Office Revolution really get the game. They furnished a global sports marketing agency in Fulton Market that won Crane's coolest offices. They know work is not just about conference rooms. This space has leather couches, bar stools by the tap, and even stadium seating for brainstorming great plays. Office Revolution knows your office represents your culture, brand, and should be a space where the team wants to work. Visit office-revolution.com to see what they can do.
Get ready for Chicago Gourmet. This September 22nd through 25th, Chicago Gourmet is creating a stir with a weekend of spirited events, serving up delicious food, premium wines, spirits, and beer. Join world-class chefs Rick Bayless, Stephanie Izard, Danielle Boulou, Sarah Gruenberg, and more for gourmet fun on the Harris Theater rooftop at Millennium Park. Tickets will sell out. Get yours today at chicagogourmet.org. From the Illinois Restaurant Association, Southern Glazers Wine and Spirits, and Choose Chicago.
Served up by the always game-ready Jack Link's Meat Snacks. Feed your wild side, baseball fans. Blue Jays 5, Phillies nothing. Blue Jays got a 3-run home run in the first inning from Matt Chapman. An RBI base hits from George Springer and Alejandro Kirk. Partly induced because of the twilight overhead here in Philadelphia, but night has completely taken a grip now of the ballpark here on the southern end of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Lights beaming down over this 4-deck facility. Kyle Gibson stands in the middle of it, and he'll pitch to Teoscar Hernandez. Right-hander deals. Swinging a line drive to the gap in left center field. That's down. Up the gap. One hop all the way to the wall. Nestles at the base of the 387 marker. It's a ringing double for Teoscar Hernandez. He's arrived in Philly and has absolutely drilled the baseball. He's 2 for 2. And the Blue Jays once again start off with a threat. Springer had a sharp leadoff line drive in the first inning. Danny Jansen then scalded a double. Not exactly scalded. He dropped it behind Kyle Schwarber. And then the base hit by Kevin Biggio. The ball stung by Springer. That led to the 2-run second inning. Hernandez was all over that. What a way to bust out of a 2 for 26. Starts his night 2 for 2. '18th batter for Toronto. Raimel Tapia rolls it softly down to first. It's picked up by Hoskins. He'll feed Gibson over at first. Hernandez scampers his way to third. 1 down. Toronto 5 runs on 8 hits. One of the 3 extra base knocks came from Danny Jansen, his 6th double. You know the glove is there for Danny Jansen. We've seen that in the big leagues. It's really nice to have Jansen's bat back and performing again. That's such a nice start to the regular season, but twice injured this year. Once because of muscles, the next because of a broken bone in his left hand. Swings at the first pitch, drives it out to deep left center field. Back of the wall leaping. Marsh can't grab it. It bangs off the fence. Danny Jansen's going to have his 2nd double. It drives home a run, and it's 6-0 Toronto. That ball nearly carried over the wall between the 374 and the 387 marker. It went high off the fence, eluding the leap of Brandon Marsh, the center fielder. Double number 7 for Danny Jansen. RBI number 35. We're talking about that bat producing, which was basically a role reversal of when Danny Jansen was a rising prospect. In 2017, John Schneider had him in A-ball, gave him the opportunity to be promoted to Double-A, and then he was moved to Triple-A by season's end. The bat was his calling card. Now it's all coming together. 6-0 Blue Jays. Kevin Biggio, the batter. First pitch at the knees, a called strike 1. Toronto has tallied all 3 of their at-bats so far. Gibson set. Now to the plate. Changeup missed outside. 1 ball and 1 strike. Biggio's 1 for 1. Dropped a base hit in between the diamond and the left fielder. One. That's low. 2 balls and 1 strike. 1 down, runner at second. Two one. Pulled foul. 2 balls and 2 strikes on Cavan. Blue Jays only have a couple of left-handed hitters in the lineup tonight. Raimel Tapia, he's batting 7th and in left field. And then Kevin Biggio rounding out the order for John Schneider. Pretty cool opportunity over these last couple of days, including tomorrow for the Blue Jays manager, John Schneider. Surrounded by a ton of friends and family. 2-2 has corked up the right field line foul. Now remains 2 balls and 2 strikes on Biggio. Mom, dad, both brothers, only living 35 minutes from downtown Philadelphia in Lawrenceville, New Jersey, John Schneider's hometown, just over the Delaware into the Garden State, and an easy commute. 2-2. In the air, out to left center field. Moving to his left is Schwarber into the gap. He's there to make the catch. 2 down. Jansen holds the lead at second base. Blue Jays 6, Phillies nothing. Was talking with the Schneitz about the opportunity to get it home again. He said, this is a lot easier than New York. It takes my family forever to get out of Jersey, go over the river, and then up to the Bronx. Here it's an easy commute, depending on which way they want to go. You want to go over the Walt Whitman, or do you want to go over the Ben Franklin? Here's George. Springer swings at the first pitch. It's a line drive to left. Schwarber circles it, makes the catch, and the side is retired. Blue Jays back on the board, an RBI double for Danny Jansen. They've scored in all 3 of their at-bats here in Philly, and they're loving it. 6-0 Toronto midway through 3. This is Blue Jays baseball served up by Jack Link's Meat Snacks on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
At Toyota, our vehicles have always had quality and advanced safety features built right in.
Because sometimes I might forget to check my blind spots.
Quality means everything to us because it means everything to you. Order a new 2022 Corolla L from $23,101. Dealer may charge additional fees up to $1,221. Visit shoptoyota.ca or your local Ontario Toyota dealer today. It's time to Toyota.
Ontario has a plan to get students caught up. It starts with kids back in the classroom on time. With sports, clubs, and field trips. It includes new tutoring supports and teaching new experiences in science, technology, engineering, and math. So students have the skills they need for the jobs of tomorrow. See our plan at ontario.ca/catch-up. Paid for by the Government of Ontario.
Chris, pro sandwich artist, amateur spokesperson, rolling!
New Subway delivery. Order only on the Subway app and get special deals. Like $0 delivery fee.
Chris, are you ordering on the Subway app right now?
Maybe?
Ooh, could I get in on that? Eat fresh, refresh. From the top, please. Freshly prepared for your order. Limited time at participating shops. Terms, taxes, and other fees still apply. Cut!
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Jansen slugs it deep left field, and you can't forget it!
On Sportsnet 590, The Fan.
Bottom three in Philly. Blue Jays with a 6-0 lead. Coming to you tonight under gorgeous conditions here in Philadelphia from the Crown Rust Protection broadcast booth. Protect your vehicle with Crown, Canada's #1 rust protection. Book your appointment today. Crown, protect, maintain, save. 3-run home run from Matt. RBI base hits from George Springer, Alejandro Kirk, and Danny Jansen. Big lead for Ross Stripling. Brandon Marsh, Matt Vierling, and then Kyle Schwarber. 8-9-1 against the right-hander, wheels and deals. Fastball's high on Marsh. Former Angel, grabbed by the Philadelphia Phillies at the trade deadline, made his debut 2 days later. And swung the bat pretty well with Philly. Batting .284 since putting on the red pinstripes. The 1-0. Floating foul up the line and left. That's strike one. 1 ball and 1 strike on Marsh. 11 for his last 26 at the plate with 4 extra base hits. Pitch number 25 from Stripling. Just a little bit low. Now 2 balls and 1 strike. Two-one. Swing and a miss. 2 balls and 2 strikes on the number 8 hitter. Marsh made a bid to pull the ball back off the wall. The Danny Jansen club driving home Teoscar Hernandez back in the 3rd inning. Center fielder went bolting to his right. Split the difference in the signage between the 387 and the 374 marker. The 2-2. Swing and a miss. Strikeout number 2 for Stripling. It's the leadoff man here in the 3rd for Philly. Blue Jays with a 6-0 lead. Want to find out more about the Blue Jays, find out more about the Philadelphia Phillies? Well, you can get the big guests and big opinions on everything Blue Jays from Blair and Barker, weekdays from 10 to noon Eastern on Sportsnet 360, Sportsnet 590 The Fan, or listen to the show on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your favorite podcasts. Plus, Blair and Barker will host Jays Talk following tonight's game. Fastball from Stripling on Vierling for strike 1. Big guests lined up tomorrow, former major leaguers Raul Ibanez and the timeless Jamie Moyer. 0-1. Tails outside. 1 ball and 1 strike. Jamie Moyer had a remarkable career in the major leagues. It spanned a quarter of a century. 25 major league seasons, 5 of them spent here in Philadelphia. 1-1. Fouled away the pitch at the plate. 1 ball and 2 strikes. He had some big seasons in Seattle, but here in these parts, none more revered than that 2008 campaign where he won 16 games at the age of 45. Close to a 371 earned run average. 1-2. Wrapped on the ground, down to third. Step to his right. Chapman gobbles it up. On to first with the throw, and there are 2 down. Blue Jays in front, 6-0 here in the third. Be really exciting to hear the interview. I mean, Raul Bañez is great. Jamie Moyer, though, is an institution. I mean, this city has a ton of history in it, but Jamie Moyer is where the history book starts when it comes to the pitching. I mean, it could be a pitching hymnal. I don't care. A ton of experience. Just absolutely thriving at all facets of his career. Kyle Schwarber takes high. That's ball 1. 2008, not only 16-game winner at the age of 45, but he won a World Series and was at his best in the twilight of his career in that Game 3 against the Tampa Bay Rays, where he fired 6 1/3. 1-0. Schwarber takes a high strike. 1 ball and 1 strike. He would have been in the toast of that ball game if Ryan Madsen hadn't blown the save opportunity. In the 9th inning, the Rays' Grant Balfour absolutely melted down. Hit a man through a wild pitch. Rays issued 2 intentional walks, and then Carlos Ruiz delivered the game-winning single past Evan Longoria. The Phillies would win the World Series in 5 games over the Tampa Bay Rays. And Jamie Moyer was right there in the thick of it. Blue Jays 6, Phillies nothing. 2 up and 2 down here in the third. Schwarber swings and he hits it high in the air out to right field. He gets the 4-man outfield. There's Kevin Biggio. The side is retired in order. 6 in a row put down by Ross Stripling. And he has retired 9 of 10 coming to the plate through 3 scoreless. Off to the 4th. Big lead for the Blue Jays. 6-0. This is Blue Jays baseball served up by Jack Link's Meat Snacks on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
From Grubhub's glossary, Euphoria, the total bliss of food meeting your mouth and your expectations. As in, one bite of fettuccine sent Kevin into an overwhelming state of euphoria.
Mamma mia. That's good.
Satisfy all your food moods with Grubhub. On time, lowest price, or we'll make it right. That's the Grubhub guarantee. Terms apply. For details, visit grubhub.com/guarantee.
Hasta la pasta.
Just like us at Bears Radio, our friends at Office Revolution really get the game. They furnished a global sports marketing agency in Fulton Market that won Crane's coolest offices. They know work is not just about conference rooms. This space has leather couches, bar stools by the tap, and even stadium seating for brainstorming great plays. Office Revolution knows your office represents your culture, brand, and should be a space where the team wants to work. Visit office-revolution.com to see what they can do.
This September, Chicago Gourmet is going Uberboard. Join host Chef Sarah Gruenberg for Prost in the Park, a new Oktoberfest-style event with chef takes on classic German delights, Upa bands, fun cocktails, and delicious craft beer. From familiar favorites to a big collection of local craft breweries, get ready to toast at this Sunday Fun Day on the Harris Theater rooftop at Millennium Park. Prost in the Park, Sunday, September 25th. Tickets at chicagogourmet.org. Presented by Performance Food Service.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Swing and a miss. Barrios clinches his fists. He's fired 6 shutout.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan.
We go to the 4th inning being presented by Bet365. With Bet365, you can bet on things like player props, totals, or money lines across many different sports. 19 plus, play responsibly, Ontario only. Phillies making a couple of defensive changes early in this one. Brandon Marsh is out. Kyle Gibson rocks into the windup. Vladdy swings at the first pitch and hits it to the new center fielder, Matt Vierling. He's there, handles the liner. 1 down. That'll bring up Bo Bichette. Toronto in front, 6-0. No update on what is up with Brandon Marsh, the center fielder, but Matt Vierling has shifted over from right field to play in center. And Dalton Guthrie has jumped on the lineup card for Marsh. He's playing first defensively in right. Pitch by Gibson's a slider away on Bo. That's ball one. So Guthrie jumps on your lineup card batting eighth just to keep it clean. The 1-0. Bounding ball past the dive of the first baseman. A base hit into right field for Bo Bichette. Slips it past the plunge of Rhys Hoskins. Bo's got another base hit. What else is new? I mean, usually things cool off in September. Not Bo. He gets hot in September. Here's Alejandro Kirk. Walked and scored when the 3-run home run was cracked in the first inning and then drove home a run with a single in the second. All part of the Blue Jays' 6-0 lead. Ground ball up the middle of the diamond. Segura's got a double play ball. Feet Stott at the bag at second for one. Easy throw to first in time. A double play. Desperately desired by Kyle Gibson. He faces the minimum for the first time against the Blue Jays in the fourth inning. No runs, the base hit, twin killing, no men left. Midway through the fourth, 6-0 Toronto. This is Blue Jays baseball, served up by Jack Link's Meat Snacks on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
This October, you need to be at...
How's your mental health? I'm listening with Alanis Morissette.
When it first started, I would have my nightly panic attacks, but then I started getting really curious about all the sensations. Like, I just really started looking at, okay, so chest is, I got really kind of granular in observing the details of what was really going on with the breath. It's just survival strategy. Chronic stress is trauma.
Join us for Odyssey's I'm Listening to Our National Mental Health Conversation, Wednesday, September 21st at 6 p.m. Talk Saves Lives.
Fantasy football leagues are won on the waiver wire, and with trades, and with savvy starter sit decisions. The Fantasy Football Today podcast will help you along the way with the best advice on how to manage your team and dominate your league. With 8 episodes per week, Fantasy Football Today is the only resource you'll need. Start, sit, grade the trade, fantasy cops to settle your league disputes, and so much more. Check out Fantasy Football Today anywhere podcasts are found.
The listening you love is on the free Odyssey app. Your trusted local radio stations, coverage of your favorite teams, live news from your hometown, and millions of podcasts on demand. Best of all, you can completely customize your listening experience. Follow topics you care about, like leagues and teams. Pause or rewind your local sports and news, and add shows to your queue to catch up later. There's a lot to listen to, so get started and download the free Odyssey app today.
From Grubhub's glossary, Euphoria, the total bliss of food meeting your mouth and your expectations. As in, one bite of fettuccine sent Kevin into an overwhelming state of euphoria.
Mamma mia, that's good.
Satisfy all your food moods with Grubhub. On time, lowest price, or we'll make it right. That's the Grubhub guarantee. Terms apply. For details, visit grubhub.com/guarantee.
Hasta la pasta.
Beautiful night in the Crown Rust Protection broadcast booth here in the Keystone State. Protect your vehicle with Crown, Canada's #1 rust protection. Book your appointment today. Crown, protect, maintain, save. Ross Stripling going to work. First pitch is a fastball in there for strike one on Rhys Hoskins. Hoskins batting in the number 2 spot in front of Bryce Harper and JT Realmuto. Stripling deals. Swinging a line drive out to right. Playable for Teoscar Hernandez. That's a quick first out here in the 4th inning, where the Blue Jays have a 6-0 lead. Kyle Gibson got out of the top of the 4th inning, really before we could dive into the defensive changes, where Matt Vierling has shifted from right. Dalton Guthrie has entered to play in right field. On the lineup card, replacing Brandon Marsh. Marsh went back on the wall, hit the top of the fence with his foot extended, and then landed awkwardly on the warning track. That's the best guess. Harper swings. It's the first pitch against the shift. Slips it in between Biggio and Bichette. A base hit. One out base runner for the Phillies. The Phillies haven't announced anything on why the defense have changed. When we get it, we'll pass it along. Injury report is brought to you by Bergmanis Pereira Personal Injury Lawyers. If life has thrown you a curveball and you're striking out with your insurance company, get ahead of the count and call Bergmanis Pereira Personal Injury Lawyers. Your cleanup hitters. Visit bplawyers.ca. A little concern for the Philadelphia Phillies. They have been battered and tattered all season long. They start an extremely important homestand. First against the Toronto Blue Jays, and then this weekend we'll welcome in Atlanta. Atlanta just swept the Phils down south in GA. There's JT Realmuto. First pitch in there for a called strike one. Rubbed up on Friday night, edged on Saturday, and then Spencer Strider was outstanding on Sunday against the Philadelphia Phillies, posting a 5-2 win. Atlanta's coming in for 4. Blue Jays will leave Philly and settle in for 4 at the Trop, starting on Thursday night. Will they have Lourdes Gurriel Jr. back by the weekend? Doesn't sound like it. 0-1. Inside. 1 ball and 1 strike on Realmuto. Blue Jays don't have Lourdes Gurriel Jr. as part of this trip. He has left the ball club. He's currently at the Player Development Complex down in Florida, doing some rehab. He's hitting, he's throwing. Hasn't really gone full tilt on the bases yet. 1-1 pitch. Lined into left field, a base hit. Realmuto is 2 for 2. Phillies making their most noise on Ross Stripling. A couple of one-out singles. Blue Jays with a 6-0 lead. Realmuto had a leadoff double, then went over to third back in the second. Phillies couldn't get him in. Ross started the night retiring 11 of the first 12 coming to the plate. Harper and Realmuto with singles. Now Alec Baum. Baum lined the opposite way. Swings at the first pitch and fouls it away at the plate for strike one. By the way, just to close the thought on Lourdes Gurriel Jr., a potential return to play program, likely will not include a minor league rehab assignment. Blue Jays want to evaluate him when they get to the Trop. Bring him back with the big club when they're down in Florida, only about 45 minutes away from the complex. Sometime over the weekend, they'll give a look at Lourdes. 0-1. Downstairs, 1 ball and 1 strike. Best case for the Blue Jays and Lourdes Gurriel Jr. is that his bat returns to the lineup against the New York Yankees, starting the final homestand of the regular season. That'll begin on September the 26th, all the way through October the 2nd. 3 against the Yankees, 3 against the Red Sox. 1-1. Hit high in the air, out to left center field. Tapia with Springer into the alley. Springer calling from center, making the catch. Runners are tagging. The runner at second, Harper, will tag it advance to third. The throw goes to the bag at second. Realmuto retreats back to first with 2 down. We're on the corners here in the 4th for the Phillies. All Blue Jays tonight with a 6-0 lead. Bryson Stott, the batter. Stripling looks in. Stott looks out. And he takes a fastball that paints the outside corner with strike one. Phillies first rounder back in 2019. Drafted 14th overall. The 0-1. Stott hits it up the left field line, slicing towards the corner. Tapia on the move. Can't get there in time. It lands foul. disappears from our line of sight deep into the left field corner. At the pole where it reads 329 feet, then it angles back by 5 feet quickly in front of the front row in the flower bed where it's 334. That's a wall that spans to the top of the railing, 10 feet and 6 inches. Straightaway center field in front of the shrubs, it's only 6 feet high. And there's the funky angle, too, out there in left center field. That goes anywhere from 19 feet to 12 feet, 8 inches. That's an angle that Ryan Howard punished. Runner from first is going. Ground ball in the middle of the diamond. Diving stop by Bichette. Pops up. Low throw to first on a bounce. Not in time. A run comes in. Phillies will score their first. The Blue Jays with a runner in motion. A left-handed batter. Put Bichette in coverage at second. He slammed on the brakes, reversed his course as quickly as he could, made a diving stop, popped up to his feet, made a throw to first, kept it low. Vladdy dug it on a bounce cleanly, but Stott was too fast. He's called safe. And the Phillies are on the board. Infield single for Bryson Stott. 6-1 Toronto. Realmuto reaches at second. That's something the Orioles did over the weekend, too. Put a man in motion. Santiago Espinal went in coverage, hesitated for a moment, just couldn't make the play. There's Gene Segura. First pitch over for a called strike. Three singles here in the fourth, nothing blistered. Gets the Phillies on the board. 6-1 Toronto. 0-1. Segura swings late and fouls it back. No balls and 2 strikes on the number 7 hitter. Fourth year with the Phillies. Stops in Los Angeles with the Angels, with the Brewers, the Diamondbacks, and the Mariners for Gene Segura. Feet spread wide of the right-handed batter's box. Pitch in the dirt. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Another good stop by Danny Jansen. Man, has he ever been a workhorse behind the plate or what? Since 2019, few have been better at stopping anything in the dirt than Danny Jansen. One, 2. Fouled back. Stays 1 ball and 2 strikes on Segura. He's 0 for 1, tapping out to the shortstop. So he's going through the lineup for the second time. Blue Jays with a 6-1 lead in the fourth. One, 2. Bounce the plate. That one hit the dirt way out in front of the dish and then went right off the chest of Danny Jansen. We were talking with John Schneider before the ball game today about some of those intangibles that he recognized when he first met Danny Jansen back as a 17-year-old in 2013 in the Gulf Coast League. Great personality. Not only pitchers, but his teammates overall gravitating to Danny Jansen. Swing and a miss at the 2-2. Stripling gets the punch out. He allows 1 run on 3 singles. 2 men left here in this fourth inning. Let's go to the fifth, where the Blue Jays have a 6-1 lead over the Phillies. This is Blue Jays baseball, served up by Jack Link's Meat Snacks on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Back to the Grubhub Spelling Bee.
Word is enthusiastic.
Repeat in a sentence, please.
She was enthusiastic as her Grubhub order of tempura rolls looked and tasted crispy.
Enthusiastic. ENSUSHIASTIC. Enthusiastic. Woo-hoo!
On time, lowest price, or we'll make it right. That's the Grubhub guarantee. Terms apply. For details, visit grubhub.com/guarantee.
Just like us at Bears Radio, our friends at Office Revolution really get the game. They furnished a global sports marketing agency in Fulton Market that won Crane's coolest offices. They know work is not just about conference rooms. This space has leather couches, bar stools by the tap, and even stadium seating for brainstorming great plays. Office Revolution knows your office represents your culture, brand, and should be a space where the team wants to work. Visit office-revolution.com to see what they can do.
Ready to improve your bottom line? The Room can match you with a top financial analyst. Trusted by small businesses, startups, and entrepreneurs, The Room's virtual financial analysts are highly trained, vetted through a rigorous data-driven process, and matched to fit your needs. Drive business growth with a virtual financial analyst from The Room. It's like listening to all the financial programs rolled into one. Get started today at trytheroom.com. That's trytheroom.com.
Get ready for Chicago Gourmet. This September 22nd through 25th, Chicago Gourmet is creating a stir with a weekend of spirited events, serving up delicious food, premium wines, spirits, and beer. Join world-class chefs Rick Bayless, Stephanie Izard, Danielle Boulou, Sarah Gruenberg, and more for gourmet fun on the Harris Theater rooftop at Millennium Park. Tickets will sell out. Get yours today at chicagogourmet.org. From the Illinois Restaurant Association, Southern Glazers Wine and Spirits, and Choose Chicago.
Looking for stories about the Black community and you don't want to wait until, February? Then check out Beyond Black History Month, the podcast that tells inclusive stories year-round. Like how today's labor movement is connected to the civil rights movement, and why Black neighborhoods keep getting hit with water crisis after water crisis.
We're still being charged for water that we can't use.
Listen and subscribe to Beyond Black History Month on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts from.
How's your mental health? I'm listening with Alanis Morissette.
When it first started, I would have my nightly panic attacks, but then I started getting really curious about all the sensations. Like, I just really started looking at, okay, so chest is, I got really kind of granular in observing the details of what was really going on with the breath. It's just survival strategy. Chronic stress is trauma.
Join us for Odyssey's I'm Listening 2-hour national mental health conversation, Wednesday, September 21st at 6 p.m. Talk saves lives.
Fantasy football leagues are won on the waiver wire, and with trades, and with savvy starter sit decisions. The Fantasy Football Today podcast will help you along the way with the best advice on how to manage your team and dominate your league. With 8 episodes per week, Fantasy Football Today is the only resource you'll need. Start sit, grade the trade, fantasy cops to settle your league disputes, and so much more. Check out Fantasy Football Today anywhere podcasts are found.
Come into Bell Tire today, and you'll get the lowest tire price, period. Like up to $150 off a set of 4 tires with brand names like Michelin, BF Goodrich, and Goodyear. You'll also get a guy who will give you free lifetime flat repairs, tire rotations, and alignment checks. Get up to $150 off a set of 4 tires, plus more free services, more out of your tires, and more for your money. It's how we make the lowest tire price feel even lower. At Bell Tire. See store at belltire.com for details and offer expiration.
Hey guys, Mike Valeni for Cash the Ticket podcast. If you like sports betting or if you just like sports, it's the podcast for you. We try to cover all the big games and maybe some of the games you didn't even know were important, give you some angles, pick some winners, have a good time, and hopefully help you meander through college and pro football season. So join us a couple times a week to get all your information you need to bet the games that you watch. It's Cash the Ticket on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
How's your mental health? I'm listening with Michael Phelps.
You know, I think for me in 2014, when I found myself in that dark place where I didn't want to be alive in those 4 days when I was in my room by myself, I wanted to find a different way. I wanted to find a different answer. I was sick and tired of feeling how I felt. And that's why I started to seek help. And that's when I checked myself into a treatment center.
Join us for Odyssey's I'm Listening 2-hour national mental health conversation, Wednesday, September 21st at 6 p.m. Talk saves lives.
Sitting at $1.3 million. And rising rapidly. I mean, it's ridiculous. It's incredibly encouraging, too. Somebody's going to retire. Here's the pitch. Raimel Tapia checks his swing. Did he take low? He did. The Phillies have drawn the infield in. With a 6-1 lead, Philly doesn't want it to go any further. 1-0 from Gibson. Tapia tracks low and away. 2 balls and no strikes. And if the winner is already retired, man, that's a nice legacy piece, isn't it? Floating at $1.3 million already. That's the take-home for the Super September jackpot. And there's more prizing. Gibson to the 2-0. On the outside corner, right at the knees. 2 balls and 1 strike. There are 11 early bird prizes still available, including Blue Jays merchandise and what will become the talk of the block. The absolute talk of the block, the icebreaker, the greatest conversation piece ever assembled, the 1992 team-signed water cooler. 2-1. Fouled away. The 2-ball and 2-strike count. I don't know if you've ever had an interaction with somebody famous and you literally have nothing to sign. Like, oh, here, sign the back of my dad's business card that I've carried in my wallet for the last 30 years. You know, because you meet that Hollywood icon or your favorite sports hero in these parts, maybe in the line at Wawa. I don't know. The 2-2. Line drive right back off of Gibson. He swats it to the turf, retrieves it in front of the bump, throws out Tapia at first base. A heart-stopping moment on the mound for Kyle Gibson. A liner off the bat of Raimel Tapia made a thud as it made impact on the right-hander, who seems to be okay. I don't know if that struck the body or got leather. It might have got both. On the follow-through, Gibson got the glove up. And on the ricochet, it lands in between the plate and the mound. And Gibson able to pick it up with the glove hand, exchange, and then throw to first to retire Tapia. No advance by Chapman. He's still at third base. And even the presence of mind of Gibson to check in on the lead of Chapman at third base as he completes the 1-3 putout. Gibson's going to take a couple of warm-up tosses. Robbie Thompson, the Sarnia native, interim manager after taking over for the departed Joe Girardi. That's 2 tosses, looking pretty fluid. On the follow-through at the right-hander, though, it appeared that it got him on the throwing arm. Here's the third chuck. Seems to be okay. Gibson gives a nod. Training staff signs off. 2 down, runner at third for the Blue Jays. In front, 6-1. So anyway, not lying here. A water cooler signed by the entire 1992 World Series champs. I've verified this. Pat Tabler is in the ballpark. He also signed it, remembered signing it. And it is a thing of beauty. Seriously. Runner at third, 2 out for Danny Jansen. A couple of doubles tonight for Jano. The pitch. Swinging a line drive, sinking into right, down for a base hit. 7th run of the night, scored by the Blue Jays, driven home by Danny Jansen, who's 3 for 3. He's driven home a pair all alone. 7-1 Toronto. Blue Jays cash in the leadoff double. Jano's playing to all fields. Twilight double in the second inning. A ball off the wall in deep left center field in the third. And he pushes one into right. A dozen hits for the Blue Jays. 3 of them for Danny Jansen. Pitch to Cavan. Change up outside, ball 1. I've just been passed from note, by the way, that Super September J-Scare 50-50 jackpot checking in as the 3rd biggest 50-50 in Major League Baseball history and is currently on a record pace right now with a couple of weeks to go. Just under 2 weeks to go, I guess, officially. Nick Nelson is loosening in the bullpen for the Phillies. Blue Jays in front 7-1. Biggio in front, 2 balls and no strikes. Get in the excitement. Get your tickets for the Blue Jays 50-50, that Super September jackpot, by getting your tickets at bluejays.com/5050. 2-0. Pick the outside corner. It's 2-1. That's bluejays.com/5050. 50-50. Biggio's 1 for 2 with a run scored. The 2-1 pitch. Outside. 3 balls and 1 strike. Three one. Called a strike. Boy, that was kind. Nelson warming with purpose. Likely because George Springer is standing out on deck. And that'd be the 4th look for Springer against Kyle Gibson. Runner goes from first. Pitch called strike 3 on the outside corner. Gavin goes down looking. Blue Jays retired here in the 5th. They're back on the board, courtesy of Danny Jansen's RBI single. He's 3 for 3 with a pair of ribbies. And the Blue Jays have a 7-1 lead over the Phillies in the middle of the 5th. This is Blue Jays baseball served up by Jack Link's Meat Snacks on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
From Grubhub's glossary, Euphoria, the total bliss of food meeting your mouth and your expectations. As in, one bite of fettuccine sent Kevin into an overwhelming state of euphoria.
Mamma mia. That's good.
Satisfy all your food moods with Grubhub. On time, lowest price, or we'll make it right. That's the Grubhub guarantee. Terms apply. For details, visit grubhub.com/guarantee.
Hasta la pasta.
Just like us at Bears Radio, our friends at Office Revolution really get the game. They furnished a global sports marketing agency in Fulton Market that won Crane's coolest offices. They know work is not just about conference rooms. This space has leather couches, bar stools by the tap, and even stadium seating for brainstorming great plays. Office Revolution knows your office represents your culture, brand, and should be a space where the team wants to work. Visit office-revolution.com to see what they can do.
Get ready for Chicago Gourmet. This September 22nd through 25th, Chicago Gourmet is creating a stir with a weekend of spirited events, serving up delicious food, premium wines, spirits, and beer. Join world-class chefs Rick Bayless, Stephanie Izard, Danielle Boulou, Sarah Gruenberg, and more for gourmet fun on the Harris Theater rooftop at Millennium Park. Tickets will sell out. Get yours today at chicagogourmet.org. From the Illinois Restaurant Association, Southern Glazers Wine and Spirits, and Choose Chicago.
Group. Your home for all 162 Toronto Blue Jays baseball games.
The celebration begins.
Toronto Blue Jays baseball on Sportsnet 590 The Fan.
Great to have you alongside for the Crown Rust Protection broadcast booth here in Philadelphia. I'm Ben Wagner. Joe Ali's back at baseball control. And on the dials tonight, Marty Dickerson and Tom Young behind the scenes helping bring you tonight's broadcast. Last of the 5th inning at Citizens Bank Park. Blue Jays 7, Phillies 1. Protect your vehicle with Crown, Canada's #1 rust protection. Book your appointment today. Crown, protect, maintain, save. Stripling rocks into the wind, his first pitch. Dalton Guthrie, who checked in the lineup for Brandon Marsh, takes the first pitch strike. Brandon Marsh, the Phillies just let us know a little bit ago that he left because of left knee discomfort. And Guthrie smokes one out to deep left field. That ball's gone. Guthrie with the rising line drive into left center field. That got out of here in no time flat. He ambushes the first pitch from Ross Stripling, and it's his first in the major leagues. Into the windup, here's Matt Vierling. Stripling delivers a first pitch strike. Oh, and now the negotiations have started. A guy caught a home run ball in left center field. And Usher went over and said, hey, just so you know, that's the first home run in the big leagues. Guy looks pretty stern. He's holding the baseball. Now he's perhaps seeking counsel of what to negotiate. Perhaps. Here's the 0-2. Off the fist, a low liner out of the reach of Bichette into left field. Well, skip by the Blue Jay shortstop. Go down as a base hit. 7-2 Blue Jays. We're in the 5th inning. Kyle Schwarber, the batter. Well, I'm dying to know how negotiations are going to go. He's surrounded like 4 or 5 of his buddies, clearly. He's showing off the baseball. Well, where do you want to start these negotiations? If you're the guy that catches the ball, you probably want, some good stuff. How about tickets to a future game? How about some bats? How about some balls? How about some autographed gear? Hey, Dalton, I know you hit the home run, but can I meet Bryce Harper? Pitch outside from Stripling, ball 1. The Phillies will say, nope. How about you give us the ball? We'll give you a box of detergent. You always have to start low in your negotiations. Fly ball out to right field. Hernandez races to his right, goes into a slide and can't make the catch. Vierling races to second. Schwarber with that slicing liner in and out of the corral of Teoscar Hernandez. Went into a slide and went right off the edge of his glove. Went into a feet-first slide. I think that's going to go down as a base hit. It will. So this 5th inning not going nearly as smooth as what the prior 4 have gone for Ross Stripling. And that's why Pete Walker, the pitching coach, is going to march his way to the mound. Runners on first and second. Nobody on the 5th. Blue Jays in front, 7-2. This is the 3rd time through the order. Certainly, Ross has earned the opportunity to go through the order for the 3rd time. This has been a topic of conversation as the Blue Jays bullpen gets busy with Zach Pop. He's loosening. Blue Jays had everybody on the hill. Chapman made it 3-0 in the first with his home run. 2 runs on a couple of base hits in the 2nd inning. An RBI double for Danny Jansen in the 3rd. Jano with an RBI base hit in the 5th. Rhys Hoskins takes the first pitch strike. Phillies got an RBI single from Bryson Stott, driving in Bryce Harper. A solo home run, the first in the big leagues for Dalton Guthrie. The pitch is low. 1 ball and 1 strike. Runners aboard at first and second. Hoskins is fly to center and line to right. Righty on righty. Stripling deals. Swing and a miss. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Now the 1-2. Corked up the line and left. That's a base hit all the way into the corner. Vierling's around third. He's going to score. Schwarber gets a stop sign at third. He moves corner to corner on an RBI double for Hoskins. Phillies have tapped the plate 3 times. 7-3 Toronto here in the 5th inning. Double number 28 for Rhys Hoskins. He drives home his 68th of the year. Kyle Gibson lulled this crowd to sleep in the early innings, but they have come back to life here in Philly. Well, as they were all night, when Rhys Hoskins just smoked that double. Starts the rally here in the 5th. Nobody out. Runners at second and third for Bryce Harper. Harper swings and fouls the first pitch towards the Blue Jays dugout for strike 1. Harper flied to right his first time up, singled to right against the shift in the 4th. And they came in to score on the base hit by Stott. 7-3 Toronto. Last of the 5th inning. The 0-1. Outside. 1 ball and 1 strike on Harper. Last night, Bryce Harper had him whipped into a frenzy across the parking lot while he was watching the Philadelphia Eagles absolutely dismantle the Minnesota Vikings last night when he attended the game. Monday Night Football, a couple of absolute blowouts last night. A tale of 2 cities, here in Philadelphia and the other in Western New York. The Buffalo Bills absolutely crushed the Titans, 41-7. Star-studded affair here in a great pocket of Philadelphia where the major entertainment venues where the Flyers play, the 76ers, 1-2. Harper fouls it back. Stays 1 ball at 2 strikes. The Philadelphia Eagles, and of course, the Philadelphia Phillies, all right here in the stadium complex. Last night, the outside of the Wachovia Center, that was illuminated all green. The ballpark here in Philadelphia, where the Phillies' primary colors are blue and red. Usually the dominant color is Philadelphia Philly red. I mean, a deep scarlet red. Last night, this ballpark was glowing in green. All in support of the Eagles across the parking lot. 1-2. Harper rolls it through the right side. That's a base hit. And the score is Schwarber. Behind him, Hoskins, who gets a late stop sign at third base because there's nobody out. 5 straight base hits by the Phillies. 3 runs are in here in the 4th. 4 runs in the ball game, and all of a sudden, that lopsided 7-1 start into this 5th inning looks a lot different because it's 7-4. And John Schneider, in front of his mom and dad, will make the march over the third base line and make this pitching change and lift Ross Stripling. Hoskins stands at third. Harper's aboard with his second hit, making it a 3-run difference. Blue Jays 7, Phillies 4. We've got a pitching change with Zach Pop coming into the ball game and an opportunity for the first time tonight to go back to downtown Toronto and visit with Show Ali.
Thank you very much, Ben. This pitching change brought to you, of course, by Certainty Pro all the way. Before we get to the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard, some audio to listen to. Dan Schulman, Jay's TV voice, on with Blair and Barker. Here are the guys discussing the play of the bullpen, and in particular, Jimmy Garcia this season, who has been nothing short of fantastic out of the Jays' arm barn.
I think he's been kind of undervalued, not internally, maybe publicly. Anthony Bass has been a huge addition to the bullpen. He's been here 6 weeks. So now, there are kind of 2 guys to get big outs in big spots before you get to Jordan Romano. But Jimmy Garcia and Kevin, you were talking about it. The numbers against just forcing fastball are ludicrous. They're ridiculous. So, and for him to give up the 2 base hits to start the inning and then to come back and punch out 3 in a row. I said last night on the air, one of the things they know they have too, you called it a no-brainer, one of the things they know they have too in Bass and Garcia is they're not kids. They're not nervous. Mm-hmm. They've both pitched in really, really big games, and I don't think their heart rate gets elevated very much, and you can't have enough of that in September and October.
That's Blue Jays TV voice Dan Schulman chatting with Blair and Barker. Quick check of the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard. Wanted to start in the minors. I know many of you are interested in the progress of Yosfer Zulueta. He made his debut for the Bisons tonight. He threw 16 pitches, 11 of them strikes in 1 inning of work. 1 hit, 1 walk, grabbed the strikeout. Our pal Pat Malacaro from WGR 550 in Buffalo saying he had an upper 90s fastball, a devastating breaking ball as well. So maybe we see Zulueta factor in down the stretch. In a major league score check, Astros at Rays, Houston leading 5-0. But another injury note for Shane McClanahan. He was flexing his left shoulder in the 5th. He did depart the ballgame after chatting with Rays trainer and manager Kevin Cash. Of course, McClanahan returning from the IL last week against the Jays. Jays themselves will be in Tampa later this week starting on Thursday. That's a quick check of the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard. You're listening to Blue Jays baseball, served up by the always game-ready Jack Link's Meat Snacks. Let's get back down to Citizens Bank Park in Philly. Here's our very own Ben Wagner with a call of tonight's game.
All right, thanks so much, Joe. This ball game certainly has turned around quickly on the Blue Jays from a huge lead early. Going front 6-0. And then 7-1. All of a sudden, it's a 3-run difference. 7-4. A certainty pitching change. Bringing out the birthday boy, Zach Pop. Brampton, Ontario native, turning 26 years of age today. And here it's a pickle. Reese Hoskins at third. Bryce Harper standing at first. JT Realmuto at the plate. First pitch is downstairs from Pop for ball 1. Last season, Zach Pop made 50 turns out of the bullpen with the Marlins. This season, 18 games pitched before being acquired by the Blue Jays. 13th appearance for Toronto tonight. Right-handers 1-0 to JT Realmuto. Tying run in the batter's box. The pitch. Outside. 2 balls and no strikes. Realmuto tonight doubled and singled. He's 2 for 2. Dangerous with the bat. Also has got good wheels for a backstop. He's trying to become the second catcher in Major League history to hit 20 or more home runs and steal 20 or more bases. The 2-0. A fastball at the knees, a called strike. Phillies thought that pitch was a little bit low. Big pitch for the right-hander, too. Could have been behind 3 balls and no strikes. Pop got the benefit of the call. Nobody out. First and third for the Phillies. Have a 2-1 pitch. Line drive into right field, a base hit. Another run for Philadelphia. Hoskins hits the plate on a base hit from Realmuto. His 3rd hit tonight. It's an RBI single, and it's a 7-5 Blue Jay lead. Nobody out in the 5th. Tying runs are on. Harper stands at second. Now Baum is the go-ahead run at the plate. It's line to right and fly to center. .22 combined hits already in this game. A dozen runs combined. The pitch to Baum. Swinging a fly ball out to right field. Hernandez, a late break, charges forward, makes the catch. Runners played it safely. We'll go back to first and second. Finally, there's the first out. Took 7 hitters to find it. It's a 4-run 5th for the Phillies. A 7-5 lead here in the 5th for Toronto. Bryson Stott the batter. Stott the rookie, 1 for 2 tonight. Picked up an RBI with an infield single back in the 4th. Left-handed hitter, the pitch. Right down the middle, a called strike with a 97-mile-an-hour fastball. For another product of that tremendous 2019 first round. It's a first-round draft that included the top overall, Adley Rutschman, who's had a great year with the Baltimore Orioles. Bobby Witt Jr., who's having a superb season in Kansas City with the Royals. Pop looks back at second. The 0-1. Stott takes low and away. 1 ball and 1 strike. Bryson Stott was drafted by the Phillies in 2019, 14th overall. 14 out of the first 16. 14 out of 16 number one choices in that year's draft have already been to the big leagues. It's 16 out of the 20. 1-1. Stott swings and he loops it into center field. That'll carry to Springer. Catch is made. Harper drifted away from second. The throw by Springer to second in time. A massive double play turned by the Blue Jays. And a terrible base running error by the Philadelphia Phillies and Bryce Harper. The Phillies just ran themselves out of the frame. They had tapped the plate 4 times, crawled back into the ball game, and Springer makes the catch on the Stott liner. Harper caught drifting far enough away from second, unable to retreat to retire the side. A blunder on the bases by the Phillies. Blue Jays get to the plate in the 6th, holding the advantage, 7-5. This is Blue Jays baseball served up by Jack Link's Meat Snacks on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Baseball is in full swing. Why not enjoy great?
Back to the Grubhub spelling bee.
Word is enthusiastic.
Repeat in a sentence, please.
She was enthusiastic as her Grubhub order of tempura rolls looked and tasted crispy.
Enthusiastic. ENSUSHIASTIC. Enthusiastic.
On time, lowest price, or we'll make it right. That's the Grubhub guarantee. Terms apply. For details, visit grubhub.com/guarantee.
Just like us at Bears Radio, our friends at Office Revolution really get the game. They furnished a global sports marketing agency in Fulton Market that won Crane's coolest offices. They know work is not just about conference rooms. This space has leather couches, bar stools by the tap, and even stadium seating for brainstorming great plays. Office Revolution knows your office represents your culture, brand, and should be a space where the team wants to work. Visit office-revolution.com to see what they can do.
This September, Chicago Gourmet is going Uberboard. Join host Chef Sarah Gruenberg for Prost in the Park, a new Oktoberfest-style event with chef takes on classic German delights, Uba bands, fun cocktails, and delicious craft beer. From familiar favorites to a big collection of local craft breweries, get ready to toast at this Sunday Fun Day on the Harris Theater rooftop at Millennium Park. Prost in the Park, Sunday, September 25th. Tickets at chicagogourmet.org. Presented by Performance Food Service.
Breakdown on the bases by the Philadelphia Phillies. The Blue Jays dodged a massive bullet in the bottom of the 5th inning. The Phillies had the tying runs on in 1 out after rallying already for 4 runs, crawling back into this ball game. But George Springer makes a catch on a liner and then doubles off Bryce Harper at second. 7-5 Toronto, and Springer will lead it off here in the 6th. He's 1 for 3 tonight and takes low from the new right-hander, Nick Nelson. Oh no, Zach Eflin is in this ball game. My apologies. Pitch to Springer as Pip popped up out of play off to the right. Nick Nelson had been loosening while Kyle Gibson was laboring through his 5th inning. Gibson is officially done. 7 runs, all earned in 5 innings on a dozen hits. He struck out 3, walked 1 over 79 pitches. A little bit of a surprise to see Eflin in this ball game. There's a curveball low and away, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Eflin was not available in the Atlanta series because of some back issues. Now the 1-2. Ripped down to third, past the reach of Baum and into left field, a base hit. Springer's bolting around first. He wants an extra bag and he'll reach it easily. No chance for Schwarber to make a play out of the corner and left. Georgia's second hit of the night. That ball handcuffed the third baseman, Alec Baum. It was a low liner that took a short hop right in front of the third baseman, who made an attempt on the backhand. He didn't step in front of that ball. He didn't step towards it either. He took a step away from it. It was ripped right by him. 13th hit of the night for the Blue Jays. 7-5 leaders here in the sixth. It's officially a double. Now Vladdy's in the box. Eflin brings it home. Carrera pulls it on the ground out to the shortstop. Second hop, flagged by Stott. A low throw, and it gets away from the first baseman, Hoskins. Real Muto will have to back it up, and the Phillies are absolutely melting down. They haven't been able to throw it. They haven't been able to pick it. They haven't run the bases well, and now they're making wild throws again. A two-base error. Vladdy standing at second base. That ball to first. Hoskins didn't leave the bag, tried the long extension. Phillies look like they're unraveling right now. You know, it's amazing just how quickly they got right back into it. Here's Bo. The pitch by Eflin. Breaking ball low and away. That's ball one. It's part of the frustrations right now. Septembers have not been kind to the Phillies. And by being swept in Atlanta over the last weekend, using the off day to regroup, fans in Philly are saying, oh no, more of the same. Eflin deals. Bichette fouls it back. 1 and 1 strike. Eflin taking over for Kyle Gibson in a pitching change brought to you by Certainteed. Certainteed Pro all the way. Infield in. Springer at third base. Bichette fouls it back. And it's 1 ball and 2 strikes. Phillies dropped 6 out of their final 7 last season. In 2020, 7 of their final 8. 2019, Philadelphia lost 9 of their final 12. You think it goes deeper? Yep. Pitch to Bo. Check swing. Called for going around. I can't believe it. Got rung up on strikes on the check swing and threw his hands into the air. Thought he held it back. One down here in the sixth. Blue Jays with a 7-5 lead. By the way, in 2018, 9 of the final 11 were lost by the Phillies too. It's a club that's 7-8 in this month. Ground ball to the right side. Segura charges in, looks at home. Breaking on contact. Springer comes in to score. The throw goes to first. Kirk picks up his second RBI of the night. Blue Jays are back on the board with an 8-5 lead. Vladdy will take third base. 2 down. So if you look at the Philadelphia Phillies, going all the way back to 2018, now we're talking about 5 different seasons examining September here in Philly. You can understand the groans and the amount of concern. First pitch to Matt Chapman on the outside corner, called strike. Meanwhile, you look at what the Blue Jays were able to do last September into October, going 22-9. Great return so far in the month of September for Toronto. 14-3. The 0-1 on the outside corner of the 95-mile-an-hour fastball, and it's 0-2. Runner at third, 2 out. The 0-2. Fouled away at the plate. Blue Jays have won 22 out of their last 32. Second best record in the American League this month with their 13 Ws. 0-2 to Chapman. Fastball, strike three on the outside corner. He goes down looking. The Phillies absolutely minimized the damage here in this sixth inning. Allowed one run on one hit. There was an error. And the Blue Jays thankfully get one of those runs given up right back. Your score here in Philadelphia, 8-5 Toronto over Phillies. This is Blue Jays baseball served up by Jack Link's Meat Snacks on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Just like us at Bears Radio, our friends at Office Revolution really get the game. They furnished a global sports marketing agency in Fulton Market that won Crane's coolest offices. They know work is not just about conference rooms. This space has leather couches, bar stools by the tap, and even stadium seating for brainstorming great plays. Office Revolution knows your office represents your culture, brand, and should be a space where the team wants to work. Visit office-revolution.com to see what they can do.
This September, Chicago Gourmet is going Uberboard. Join host Chef Sarah Gruenberg for Prost in the Park, a new Oktoberfest-style event with chef takes on classic German delights, Upa bands, fun cocktails, and delicious craft beer. From familiar favorites to a big collection of local craft breweries, get ready to toast at this Sunday Fun Day on the Harris Theater rooftop at Millennium Park. Prost in the Park, Sunday, September 25th. Tickets at chicagogourmet.org. Presented by Performance Food Service.
Looking for stories about the Black community and you don't want to wait until, February? Then check out Beyond Black History Month, the podcast that tells inclusive stories year-round. Like how today's labor movement is connected to the civil rights movement, and why Black neighborhoods keep getting hit with water crisis after water crisis.
We're still being charged for water that we can't use.
Listen and subscribe to Beyond Black History Month on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts from.
Pineapples ranked in reverse order. SpongeBob's house. Ananas from Telefrancais. And Mr. Pina Power himself. The Blue Jays live here on Sportsnet 590 The Fan.
Zach Pop will stay aboard. Pitch for the Blue Jays moving into the bottom of the sixth inning. Toronto 8, Philly 5. Blue Jay right-hander celebrating birthday number 26 today. Whips the first pitch slider in. Segura backed out of the way as it darts over the dish for strike one. This sixth inning is being presented by Bet365. Bet365 is the world's favorite sportsbook with 63 million members worldwide. 19 plus, play responsibly. Ontario only. 0-1. A little swinging bunt out in front of the plate. Jansen pounces with the bare hand. Snaps the throw to first in time. Segura is retired. This ball game looked a little shaky for the Blue Jays back in the fifth inning. Ross Stripling lifted after 69 pitches, 4+ frames, charged with 5 earned runs on 9 hits. He struck out 3 and didn't walk anybody. It sped up on the Blue Jay right-hander quickly. First home run of the big leagues for Dalton Guthrie. And then 5 straight base hits, helping turn in 4 runs in the fifth. First pitch out of the way by Guthrie, strike one. He ambushed the first pitch that he saw from Russ Stripling back in the fifth inning. I wanted number 1 from Zach Pop. Sixth ball game of the bigs for Guthrie. Right-handed hitter stares out. The pitch lined off to the right, out of play. No balls and 2 strikes on the 26-year-old out of Sarasota, Florida. 6th rounder for Philadelphia back in 2017. didn't display a lot of home run prowess in the minor leagues. The 0-2. Swing and a miss. Strikeout for Pop. 2 up and 2 down here in the 6th. Blue Jays in front 8-5. Blue Jays and Phillies will get started tomorrow, 6:45 Eastern. We'll be across the network at 6:30 Eastern. Kevin Gausman will be on the mound, and Zach Wheeler will come off the injured list and make the start for the Phillies. Phillies had a decision to make on what to do with the rotation with the return of Zach Wheeler. Matt Vierling, the hitter. Slider over from Pop for strike 1. Phillies has gotten pretty good returns out of Bailey Falter. He's going to stay in the rotation for the Phillies. Noah Syndergaard might not pitch tomorrow. Might pitch tomorrow. You never know. Fly ball up the right field line. Foul territory. Vladdy with his back to the diamond racing after it. Hernandez coming in. Nobody can make the play. Strike 2. Strike 2 on Vierling. Tim Mesa's loosening in the Toronto bullpen. It'll be interesting to see who the Phillies deploy in this pitching matchup after a limited start. Robbie Thompson wouldn't tell us. Of course, he's not going to tell the enemy, but he wouldn't tell us that, Zach Wheeler would go out and throw 50 pitches or 90 pitches. We don't know. We can guess. But he will return to the rotation in some capacity tomorrow. Pop deals the 0-2. Fouled away. No balls and 2 strikes on Vierling. He's 1 for 2 at the plate with a run scored. Tougher of the conversations. I mean, the good news goes to Falter. Said, hey, we love what you've given us. You're going to stay in the rotation. The tougher is to inform Noah Syndergaard that he's not going to stay in the rotation. 0-2. Slider low and away. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Chatting with the Phillies manager in the dugout before the ball game, I said, he's kind of a tenured guy. You expect him to be in the rotation. How did that conversation go? He said he was okay with it. He was a total pro. He understood. He also understands he's going to get a chance to pitch over the next couple of weeks, too. 1-2. Strike 3 called. Fastball right down the middle. Pop comes in and he fires a 1-2-3-6 against the Phillies. We're off to the 7th here at Citizens Bank Park. Blue Jays 8, Phillies 5. This is Blue Jays baseball, served up by Jack Link's Meat Snacks on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Baseball is in full swing. Why not enjoy great?
Just like us at Bears Radio, our friends at Office Revolution really get the game. They furnished a global sports marketing agency in Fulton Market that won Crane's coolest offices. They know work is not just about conference rooms. This space has leather couches, bar stools by the tap, and even stadium seating for brainstorming great plays. Office Revolution knows your office represents your culture, brand, and should be a space where the team wants to work. Visit office-revolution.com to see what they can do.
What would you do with an extra 20 hours a week? How about 40? Get part-time or full-time help with a virtual assistant from The Room. Trusted by entrepreneurs, executives, even busy families. The Room's virtual assistants are trained, vetted through a rigorous data-driven process, and matched to fit your needs. Work smarter, delegate more, and get your time back. You have a lot more programs to listen to. Visit trytheroom.com. That's trytheroom.com.
This September, Chicago Gourmet is going Uberboard. Join host Chef Sarah Gruenberg for Prost in the Park, a new Oktoberfest-style event with chef takes on classic German delights, Upa bands, fun cocktails, and delicious craft beer. From familiar favorites to a big collection of local craft breweries, get ready to toast at this Sunday Fun Day on the Harris Theater rooftop at Millennium Park. Prost in the Park, Sunday, September 25th. Tickets at chicagogourmet.org. Presented by Performance Food Service.
The listening you love is on the free Odyssey app. Your trusted local radio stations, coverage of your favorite teams, live news from your hometown, and millions of podcasts on demand. Best of all, you can completely customize your listening experience. Follow topics you care about, like leagues and teams. Pause or rewind your local sports and news, and add shows to your queue to catch up later. There's a lot to listen to, so get started and download the free Odyssey app today.
Red Sox during the final regular season homestand of the season. You might see history. You might see the champagne pop. The Blue Jays are eyeing a division. Of course, a lot can happen before the Blue Jays and the Yankees square off. We'll check the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard in a couple of moments. But the Blue Jays have their eyes on the division, certainly on the wild card, which they lead by a game and a half, and a postseason berth. And if any of those three things happen, they will celebrate. Ask around the clubhouse today, what's your thought? Is it going to be subdued if you make it and you know you're in, or are you going to have a party? When given the chance, you party. There's Teoscar Hernandez. Takes the first pitch from Connor Brogdon downstairs. Called strike one. Brogdon and the Blue Jays feel like they know each other intimately. They see each other seemingly each and every time the Phillies and the Blue Jays play in spring training. The 0-1. Outside corner, that's called the ball, so it evens up quickly for Hernandez. 1 ball and 1 strike. This pitching change brought to you by Certainteed. Certainteed Pro all the way. One. Swinging a ball. Slammed to the gap in right center field. Back goes Guthrie on the run. He can't get this one. Hits the warning trap. Hops off the wall. Hernandez turns the corner at second. Gets back towards second base. A tag attempt by Stott. And Hernandez nearly had an unbelievable moment on the bases. But he's able to retreat back to second just in front of a tag attempt by the shortstop. Wow. Things that absolutely cannot happen for the Blue Jays. A tight ball game, 8-5 Toronto with a chance to extend the lead. You saw what happened and how quickly it can happen for the Philadelphia Phillies, but Blue Jays spent so much time talking about playing in sync and not making mental lapses like that, right there, that. I'm not sure Hernandez hit second as he was going around the base either. Oh, man. Pitch Raimel Tapia from Brogdon. Misses downstairs. That's ball 1. Go down as a double and a 3-hit night for Teoscar Hernandez. A 1-0. Late swing and a line drive foul into the screen up the line and left. A ball and a strike on Tapia. Been a ton of action in this ball game. Combined 13 runs on 24 hits. A couple of silly throwing errors from the Phillies tonight, too. 1-1. Fouled off at the plate. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Blue Jays on the plus side, leading 8-5 ahead of the stretch. St. Louis Bar and Grill out of town scoreboard. They have changed it up in the Bronx. The Pirates have surged in front in the 6th, now leading 3-2 over the New York Yankees. Two runs at the top of the 6th inning, erasing the 1-run deficit. Aaron Judge has not homered. 1-2. Pulled foul. 1 ball and 2 strikes. What a moment at Yankee Stadium. Lineage of Yankee greatness in the ballpark with Roger Maris Jr. and his other son, Kevin Maris. They're representing the family and a chance to watch the 3rd ever New York Yankee get to 60 home runs in a season. Aaron Judge is sitting on 59 tonight. Judge is currently 0 for 2 in that game. He's leading off. 1-2. Pulled up the right field line. That's a fair ball. Getting into the corner and hopping out of the way. The ball girl avoids contact. Hernandez turns the corner. He's coming in to score. Around second. Tapia wants third base. Ahead for his dive. He'll beat the throw as it skips past Baum, backed up by Brogdon. Blue Jays back on the board with another extra base hit. Raimel Tapia's second triple of the season. It's an RBI three-bagger, and the Blue Jays have a 9-5 lead. Brings up a 3-for-3 Danny Jansen. Tapia hooks that ball deep into the corner at right field. Cut through with a long run into the shadows next to the 330 marker. Relay skipped away from the third baseman, and now another hot shot. This one off the bat of Jansen. Raimel Tapia will skip rope out of the way in foul territory. Jano gets strike one in the AB. Tapia certainly knew he had extra bases once that passed Rhys Hoskins, the first baseman. Hit the bag in stride. Around second he came, and then a headfirst dive into third. 0-1, fouled back. No balls and 2 strikes. Blue Jays had their hitting shoes on tonight. 15 hits. Only 1 home run. That happened in the first inning from the bat of Matt Chapman. Oh, 2. Jansen swings and misses. Down on strikes, and there's one away. Blue Jays 9, Phillies 5. Top of the 7th inning. Kevin Biggio's the batter against the right-hander, Connor Brogdon. Everybody wearing the traveling grays has reached base tonight in the lineup. The pitch thrown to the backstop out of the reach of Real Muto. Here comes Tapia. He's in to score. The Blue Jays have double figures. 10-5 lead on a wild pitch. Philly fans disgruntled. Two here in the 7th for the Blue Jays. The only at bat tonight, Toronto has not scored in the 4th inning. 1-0. Fouled back over the third base dugout. 1 ball and 1 strike on Biggio. Gavin's 1 for 3. Singled came in back in the 2nd. His line to left and struck out. He swings and fouls the 1-1 back. 1 ball and 2 strikes. We'll dance around this St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard. They moved into the 7th inning at Cincinnati. Red Sox with a 3-1 lead over the Reds. Houston is firing a shutout on the Tampa Bay Rays. Blue Jays getting some help on the out-of-town scoreboard. Rays losing. Astros have already clinched. 1-2, tapped into the shift. Waiting on the roller at second. Segura's got it. Sidearm toss over to first. 2 down. We're moving into the 7th inning in Baltimore. The Tigers have a 2-0 lead over the Orioles. Everything coming up blue and white for the Blue Jays tonight. Another team to worry about, Seattle there in Oakland. Luis Castillo is on the bump for the Mariners. There's George Springer. He'll swing and miss at the first pitch, strike 1. Springer tonight, 2 for 4. The 2 times that he was retired, he lined out to center field and he lined out to left. Drove home a run with a base hit in the 2nd inning, and then doubled and came in to score in the 6th. 0-1, outside. 1 ball and 1 strike. Blue Jays have 15 hits. Springer has 2 of them, and he owns 1 of the 8 extra base hits that the Blue Jays have tonight. More than half of the 15 knocks for extra bases. 1-1. Outside. 2 balls and 1 strike on the Toronto leadoff man. Each of the last 6 full seasons for George Springer, 20 or more home runs. He's got some pop, the 2-1 into the dirt. 3 balls and 1 strike from Brogdon. Three-one. Swing and a miss. And it's 3-2. Three balls, 2 strikes. The pitch. Fouled back. Battle continues. 42nd appearance for Connor Brogdon this season. Opponents hitting .258 off the right-hander with a .355 earned run average. A .124 whip. Less than 2 walks per 9 innings. Almost 11 strikeouts per 9. Pretty solid. 3-2 to Springer. There's a walk. Missed low. Blue Jays with a 2-out base runner. That will bring up Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Vladdy tonight has been right in the thick of everything. Hit a ground ball up the middle that Bryson Stott stopped, made an errant throw that hit a cameraman right on the head. From our vantage point, by the way, he has left his position on the first base camera. Moved towards first to chase back Springer. Vladdy came in to score on the 3-run home run in the first inning from Matt Chapman. Reached on an air back in the 6th, officially 1 for 4. The pitch. That's low. Ball 1. (10-5) Toronto. (1-0). Swing and a miss. 1 ball and 1 strike. Mentioned earlier that the Blue Jays, whenever they move into position for the postseason, now, of course, it looks very, very encouraging for the Blue Jays, but nothing is sewn up yet. But there is that talk of watching the out-of-town scoreboard, thinking about the rotation over the final 2 weeks of the regular season. What do you do if you clinch a spot early? Do you line up your pitching for the wild card, or do you make a run to get the top spot in the wild card? Is the division still up for grabs? Guerrero vaults one high in the air. Through foul territory, slightly up the line and left. Baum underneath it from third. He makes the catch, and the side is retired. A couple of more runs for the Blue Jays here in the top of the 7th inning. They hit double figures. A 10-5 lead over the Phillies. And just outside downtown Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, it's time to stretch. This is Blue Jays baseball, served up by Jack Link's Meat Snacks on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Baseball is in full swing. Why not enjoy great?
Just like us at Bears Radio, our friends at Office Revolution really get the game. They furnished a global sports marketing agency in Fulton Market that won Crane's coolest offices. They know work is not just about conference rooms. This space has leather couches, bar stools by the tap, and even stadium seating for brainstorming great plays. Office Revolution knows your office represents your culture, brand, and should be a space where the team wants to work. Visit office-revolution.com to see what they can do.
This September, Chicago Gourmet is going Uberboard. Join host Chef Sarah Gruenberg for Prost in the Park, a new Oktoberfest-style event with chef takes on classic German delights, Uma bands, fun cocktails, and delicious craft beer. From familiar favorites to a big collection of local craft breweries, get ready to toast at this Sunday Fun Day on the Harris Theater rooftop at Millennium Park. Prost in the Park, Sunday, September 25th. Tickets at chicagogourmet.org. Presented by Performance Food Service.
Hey guys, Mike Valeni for Cash the Ticket podcast. If you like sports betting or if you just like sports, it's the podcast for you. We try to cover all the big games and maybe some of the games you didn't even know were important, give you some angles, pick some winners, have a good time, and hopefully help you meander through college and pro football season. So join us a couple times a week to get all your information you need to bet the games that you watch. It's Cash the Ticket on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Last of the seventh inning here in Philadelphia. Blue Jays have a 10-5 lead over the Philadelphia Phillies. Blue Jays dip into the bullpen for the second time tonight and bring in the lefty, Tim Mesa. This pitching change is brought to you by Certainty. Certainty Pro all the way. Kyle Schwarber, Rhys Hoskins, Bryce Harper. A couple of lefties coming to the dish, and that's why they opt for the port sider at Mesa. It's been a busy night here at the ballpark in Philly. A lot of base runners, a lot of action. Of course, a lot of production. 15 combined runs. 10-5 Toronto. That's to the seventh. There's a scoring change on the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard. The Yankees are back on top with 2 runs in the bottom of the sixth inning, and they now lead the Pirates 4-3. Mesa to work on the left-handed batting Schwarber. This is down and away, ball 1. Be watching that one in the Bronx. 1-0. Ground ball right into the shift. Backhanded pickup in the outfield grass by Biggio. Long throw to first in time to get the out. 1 up and 1 down. Elsewhere on the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard, if you're in the senior circuit, you're concerned about this one, especially here in Philly, with the Brewers nipping at the heels of the Phils in the wild card race. Milwaukee has a 3-0 lead over the New York Mets. They're in the 5th inning. I mean, a long way to go, but still. As concerned about the Blue Jays perspective, like watching the Rays, watching the Mariners, you have to look at what's happening with the Milwaukee Brewers. Are they good enough? Are they going to get hot enough to make a real run at the Phils? Or could even the Phils, with their struggles right now of dropping 4 in a row, seemingly, if things are going to get turned around over the next couple of weeks, just kind of back into the playoffs? Rhys Hoskins takes the first pitch, strike. 1 ball and 1 strike. Now on Hoskins. Hoskins doubled home a run back in the 5th and came in to score. He's 1 for 3. 1-1. Fastball on the inside corner, called strike, and it's 1-2. Hoskins was hit by a pitch last week, and he missed 3 games. He returned to the lineup and got 4 at-bats in Atlanta on Sunday. Said it's a little bit sore. Swelling kept him out of the lineup, but he's back in there out of the off day. Mason throws the slider down in the dirt. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Two. Out of play up the line and right. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Astros helping the Blue Jays continue that shutout bid in the 8th inning. Houston with a 5-0 lead over the Tampa Bay Rays on the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard. Pitched by Mesa. The 2-2. He foul it off. He did. Just got a sliver of it. 2 balls and 2 strikes. 2-2. Miss low and in. Now 3 balls and 2 strikes on the batter, Rhys Hoskins. Bryce Harper standing out on deck. 10-5 Toronto. 3-2 is fouled over the head of Harper into the screen. Toronto posting double figures in the run column for the second time this month. Blue Jays were in Texas where they played at 11. And a win over the Rangers, 11-7. 3-2. Swing and a miss. Hoskins is down on strikes. 2 up and 2 retired by Meza since coming into the ball game here in the 7th. Harper's been DHing. Doesn't have his timing down a lot since coming off the injured list. Talking with some of the Phillies coaches on the field. Reference the return to play program. They weren't sure Harper was ready. Takes a fastball. There he is again, lunging at it. That's exactly what the Phillies coaches were telling me before the ball game. There's such a need, such a desire, such a rush, an urgency to get major league players back onto the diamond after coming off significant injury. I mean, a long layoff. Harper was out since the end of June. It's 2 months. Meza misses away, 1 ball and 1 strike. Fraction of the time in return to play programs in the minor leagues. 1-1. Swing and a miss. 1 ball and 2 strikes. And then you watch players fail and really start to spiral coming off of injury, even though they want to be in a major league lineup. You have to feel the pressure of being back in the major leagues, especially in a good ball club. And listen, especially with the investments that the Phillies made in Bryce Harper. 1-2, way outside, 2 balls and 2 strikes. A 13-year mega deal for Bryce Harper. So, yeah, if you're the Philadelphia Phillies, you want Bryce Harper in the lineup every day, but harken it back to what the Blue Jays had with Teoscar Hernandez and Danny Jansen, both coming off long layoffs. 2-2. Fastball's in the dirt. 3 balls and 2 strikes on Harper. $13 years, $330 million. 3-2. Swing and a miss. Got a fastball by him. Harper's down on strikes. A perfect 1-2-3 7th from Tim Meza. Off to the 8th. Blue Jays 10, Phillies 5. This is Blue Jays baseball served up by Jack Link's Meat Snacks on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Just like us at Bears Radio, our friends at Office Revolution really get the game. They furnished a global sports marketing agency in Fulton Market that won Crane's coolest offices. They know work is not just about conference rooms. This space has leather couches, bar stools by the tap, and even stadium seating for brainstorming great plays. Office Revolution knows your office represents your culture, brand, and should be a space where the team wants to work. Visit office-revolution.com to see what they can do.
Get ready for Chicago Gourmet. This September 22nd through 25th, Chicago Gourmet is creating a stir with a weekend of spirited events, serving up delicious food, premium wines, spirits, and beer. Join world-class chefs Rick Bayless, Stephanie Izard, Danielle Boulou, Sarah Gruenberg, and more for gourmet fun on the Harris Theater rooftop at Millennium Park. Tickets will sell out. Get yours today at chicagogourmet.org. From the Illinois Restaurant Association, Southern Glazers Wine and Spirits, and Choose Chicago.
Odyssey knows that football fans can't get enough football. That's why we've got nonstop football coverage on the free Odyssey app. Podcasts and live shows dedicated to every pro team. NFL play-by-play and enough game talk for the most diehard fans. Local radio stations talking football, interviews with star players and coaches, and football fans being fans.
What kind of play calling was that?
Listen to everything you love about football, live and on demand with the free Odyssey app. Get in the game and download today. This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Straight away center field. That ball is going to go a long, long way.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan.
There's nothing better than October baseball in person, and you're going to want to be at Rogers Center when it gets louder than any ballpark around the league. And the Blue Jays are right in the thick of it. Postseason tickets go on sale Tuesday, September the 27th at 10 a.m. Mark your calendars right now or visit bluejays.com/postseason to get yours. Looking for advance access today? Become a 2023 full season or quarter season ticket member and lock in your postseason tickets today. That's bluejays.com/postseason. October baseball is on the horizon, and tonight could be another step towards it in Philadelphia, where the Blue Jays lead 10-5 over the Phillies. Bo Bichette, Alejandro Kirk, and Matt Chapman come aboard to face Sam Coonrod, third reliever for the Phillies tonight. Bo's 1 for 4 at the plate. Looks out at the right-hander. And the pitch. Fastball's inside at 96 miles an hour. Coonrod, who will turn 30 on Thursday, coming from St. Louis, Missouri. The 1-0. Sent high. 2 balls and no strikes on Bichette. A former Saluki from Southern Illinois University. Works here in the 8th. 2-0. Swinging a foul back. Big rip by Bichette. Not the first go around of the big leagues for the right-hander. Coonrod made 42 appearances with the Phillies last year. Most that he had made since 2019 when he was with the Giants. Pitched in back-to-back seasons with San Fran. That was second go-around here with the Phils. 2-1. Fouled back. He was the count of 2 balls and 2 strikes. Sam Coonrod, brought to you by Certainteed, the pro's choice for roofing, siding, drywall, insulation, and ceiling systems. Certainteed, pro all the way. Blue Jays have a 10-5 lead on 15 hits, 8 of them for extra bases, including 5 frames that have been started by a double. Two. Slider's low. Tonight is the first time in franchise history the Blue Jays have had 5 leadoff doubles in a game. It's happened several times in franchise history with 4, but tonight is with 5 is the first. 3-2 lined off to the right. It's happened before in Major League Baseball history. They can dig into the archives as far back as 1974. Three-two. Lined off to the right again. I mean, here's your candidate. If you ever thought about a guy that can grab an extra base hit with the way that Bichette can spray it around the yard, this would be a chance for a new major league record. Can a team lead off an inning 6 times in a single game with a double? 3-2. Fouled off to the right again. 5 other times in Major League Baseball history, again going back to 74. Most leadoff doubles by a team in a single game, 5. And it's all happened since 1990. There's your fun fact of the day. 3-2. Fastball called low. Ooh, Bo gets a break there. That pitch looked really good. Coonrod thought he had strike 3. Instead, the Blue Jays will once again get a leadoff man. Not a 2-bagger, just 1 on the walk. Alejandro Kirk, the batter. Kirky swings and fouls the first pitch back. That's strike one. Oh, 1. Fouled back. No balls and 2 strikes. Oh, 2. Low and away. 1 ball and 2 strikes on Alejandro Kirk. Kirk tonight with a couple of RBIs. Got 1 in with a single, another on a bounce out. Walked and scored. Soft move to first. Well, Coonrod spiked the throw over to first base. Nothing is easy on Rhys Hoskins. He's playing in the sandbox with everything. One, 2. Check swing. Did he take it high? Sure did. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Nobody out here in the 8th. Blue Jays 10, Phillies 5. Two. Fouled back. Two balls, 2 strikes. Alejandro Kirk with Coonrod working here in the 8th. Runner at first, the pitch. Another foul. 2 balls and 2 strikes still on Alejandro Kirk. I think Dan and Tabby are playing the lookalike game with John Schneider and his family behind the third base dugout tonight. I walked onto the field to play. I've actually seen Matt and Kevin, John Schneider's brothers, a couple of times in our travels. You know that they are related. Let me put it that way. You absolutely, hands down, you walk out of a door not knowing somebody's on the other side. You walk into a massive figure, and you say, yep, you're related to John Schneider. 2-2 is another foul. That's poked off to the right. Still 2-2 on Alejandro Kirk. Well, either know that you're related to John Schneider, or perhaps in the case of mom and dad, you made John Schneider. Family's behind the dugout, right where the skipper sits. 2-2. Lined into left field, finally a base hit. Bichette goes up to second. Kirk wins the battle with his second hit of the night. First and second here in the 8th for Toronto. Nobody out. Blue Jays at the plate in the 8th. We're coming to you tonight from the Crown Rust Protection broadcast booth, where we watch Matt Chapman deliver a 3-run home run, his 27th of the season, way back in the first. Protect your vehicle with Crown, Canada's #1 rust protection. Book your appointment today. Crown, protect, maintain, save. That's Teoscar Hernandez cleaning out the capital budget with his cleats. Marty, is that your microphone down there? Pitch outside on Chapman. That's ball 1. Marty Dickerson is our on-site engineer today. I don't think I've ever seen you look angry, Marty. I mean, you hear somebody kick his microphone, boy, that gets him fired up. 1-0. Fastball that had the plate. Coonrod, because he's really all over the place, didn't get the benefit of the doubt there. And it's 2 balls and no strikes. What I do appreciate, Marty, is you placing that microphone to get a true flavor of the game. I mean, you really brought us into the action there. The 2-0. Watch out. That got Chapman. And then it went off the catcher, Romuto. Now, we told you Coonrod was all over the place. And when he's there, his stuff isn't really good enough to put guys away. And it's just good enough not to get shot all over the yard. But he walks the man. He gives up a base hit. And now he plunks Matt Chapman. The bases are loaded. Third guy that Coonrod has hit this season. That's another hit by pitch for Matt Chapman. Nighttime this year, the Chapman has been tagged by a pitch that matches the second most. 2018, he was hit with 9 pitches. In 2019, he was hit by pitches 11 times. Blue Jays come up with a big knock here from Teoscar Hernandez. They are going to go heading towards the turnstiles. Hernandez swings and he loops one into right field. That's down for a base hit. Bo comes in to score. RBI single for Hernandez. Kirk is at third base. Chapman stands at second. They're still loaded up. The Blue Jays have an 11-5 lead. And right on cue, gather your belongings and head to the exits. A 4-hit night for Teoscar Hernandez. Couple of singles, a pair of doubles. 11-5 Blue Jays on 17 hits. First pitch, that's a liner into left field. Down for a base hit for Raimel Tapia. Kirk comes in to score. Chapman's heading towards the plate. Sliding into third without a play is Hernandez. Tapia stands at second. He delivers a 2-run double. Three-run, 8th inning for the Blue Jays. A baker's dozen in the run column tonight. 13-5 Toronto. Here's Danny Jansen. The pitch. Cheto takes outside, ball 1. Danny Jansen's had a big night at the plate tonight. Doubled it, scored back in the second. Drove home a run with a 2-bagger in the third. RBI single in the 5th. 3 for 4. On the inside corner, called strike. Get it's 1-1. (13-5) Toronto. 1-1. Popped up. Foul ground, first base side. This will get over the Phillies dugout. (13 runs for the Blue Jays. One-two. Swing and a miss. Geno hits a knee. He's down on strikes, and there's 1 out. Gavin Biggio to the plate. Blue Jays with their 13 runs, producing the most in the run column since that unbelievable night at Fenway Park, where the Blue Jays scorched the Red Sox for 28 runs. Second and third. The pitch to Biggio. Swing and a miss. 28-5 the win that night at Fenway Park. Blue Jay franchise record for runs. Fenway Park record for runs scored. It was an all-out assault on the Red Sox that night. 0-1. Biggio hits it out of play up the line and left. No balls and 2 strikes. Now some Blue Jay fans certainly in the thick of the ire of Philly fans. A couple of fans behind the Blue Jay dugout on the third base side, raising their arms, trying to get a Let's Go Blue Jay chance going here in Philadelphia. The 0-2, low and away. They're trying to get shouted down, not by answer of Let's Go Phillies. They're just being booed. You know those PSAs that they give fans before the ball game? If I was delivering one here in Philadelphia, this would be my suggestion of things not to do. Don't bring it upon yourself. Ground ball in the middle of the diamond. Ranging to his right, a backhand by Segura. Picks it up, throws to first. In time, that'll retire Kevin Biggio. He'll play another run for the Blue Jays with an RBI ground out. It's 14-5, Toronto. Hernandez scores for third. Raimel Tapia takes third base. The vet is no longer, but if you do a quick Google search, the story still lives. Poor Santa Claus. It was a bad day for Santa. Fastball's high. It's a terrible day for Santa. Fastball's high to Springer. That's ball one. (1-0). Popped up. That'll get out of play off to the first base side. 1 ball and 1 strike. George is the 8th man to hit here in this 8th inning. Blue Jays have tacked on 4. A 14-5 lead. (1-1). Swing and a miss. 1 ball and 2 strikes. The vet is no longer. That was on the other side of the parking lot next to Citizens Bank Park. 1-2. Hit high in the air out to shallow center. In charges Veerling. He's there, makes the catch, and that will retire the side. The Blue Jays get 8 men to the plate. Half of them come in to score. And the Blue Jays have blown it open tonight in Philly. 14-5, middle of the 8th. This is Blue Jays baseball, served up by Jack Link's Meat Snacks on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Baseball is in full swing. Why not enjoy great?
Just like us at Bears Radio, our friends at Office Revolution really get the game. They furnished a global sports marketing agency in Fulton Market that won Crane's coolest offices. They know work is not just about conference rooms. This space has leather couches, bar stools by the tap, and even stadium seating for brainstorming great plays. Office Revolution knows your office represents your culture, brand, and should be a space where the team wants to work. Visit office-revolution.com to see what they can do.
This September, Chicago Gourmet is going Uberboard. Join host Chef Sarah Gruenberg for Prost in the Park, a new Oktoberfest-style event with chef takes on classic German delights, Uba bands, fun cocktails, and delicious craft beer. From familiar favorites to a big collection of local craft breweries, get ready to toast at this Sunday Fun Day on the Harris Theater rooftop at Millennium Park. Prost in the Park, Sunday, September 25th. Tickets at chicagogourmet.org. Presented by Performance Food Service.
The listening you love is on the free Odyssey app. Your trusted local radio stations, coverage of your favorite teams, live news from your hometown, and millions of podcasts on demand. Best of all, you can completely customize your listening experience. Follow topics you care about, like leagues and teams. Pause or rewind your local sports and news, and add shows to your queue to catch up later. There's a lot to listen to, so get started and download the free Odyssey app today.
Odyssey knows that football fans can't get enough football. That's why we've got nonstop football coverage on the free Odyssey app. Podcasts and live shows dedicated to every pro team. NFL play-by-play and enough game talk for the most diehard fans. Local radio stations talking football, interviews with star players and coaches, and football fans being fans.
What kind of play calling was that?
Listen to everything you love about football, live and on demand with the free Odyssey app. Get in the game and download today.
Blue Jays all over the Philadelphia Phillies tonight, 14-5. We move into the bottom of the 8th inning. There's another pitching change brought to you by Certainteed. Certainteed, throw all the way. Julian Merriweather is on the mound, and he's got new defenders behind him, including a third baseman in Santiago Espinal. Jackie Bradley Jr. is in right field, and Bradley Zimmer is in center for the Blue Jays. Merriweather takes over, and JT Realmuto will be the first man to face the new right-hander. Housekeeping is done. Blue Jays in front, 14-5. Here's Merriweather dealing. Fastball right down the chute, strike one. Realmuto tonight, a lone bright spot for the Phillies offensively with 3 hits. Oh, 1. Line towards Bo, out of his reach. Slipped it through the 5.5 hole. 4-hit night for Realmuto. (14-5) Toronto. Alec Baum, the batter, here in the 8th. He's 0 for 3. Merriweather deals. Fastball over the outside third. Thigh high, called strike one. Oh, 1. Check swing. Did he take it low? Sure did. 1 ball and 1 strike. Take a peek at the standings update brought to you by Bet365, where you can watch thousands of live games, build your own bet, and even make a bet while the game is still being played. 19 plus, play responsibly, Ontario only. Yankees have been sitting on the hook against the Pirates tonight. That only continues to build the intrigue in the American League Eastern Division. If the Blue Jays can hold up their end of the bargain. What's that? Wins. 1-1. Fastball is outside. 2 balls and 1 strike. The Blue Jays have 1 series remaining against the New York Yankees. That is next week when the Blue Jays are home. (2-1). Hit up the middle, a base hit into center. First and second for the Phillies. Realmuto first, then Baum. Back-to-back base hits. When you look at the American League Eastern Division, the Blue Jays know that winning will cure it all. It also continues to twist the screws on New York. Blue Jays have already passed the Tampa Bay Rays in the Eastern Division standings. Start tonight, 5.5 games back. Pirates and Yankees currently a 4-4 score, last of the 7th in the Bronx. Pitch to Bryson Stott. It's called, I don't know what it's called. Looked like it had the box in the bottom inside corner. Ball 1 on Stott. There's been a home run in that ball game, but it's not number 16. Swing and a miss by Stott. 1 ball and 1 strike. Aaron Judge is 0 for 3 on the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard. Ryan Reynolds tied the ball game with a solo home run, his 24th of the year. And the reason that it's 4-4 moving into the 8th 1-1 for Merriweather. At the knees, called low. Blue Jays coaches reacted like they thought that was a strike. Didn't get the call from the home plate umpire. Phillies have runners on at first and second. Nobody out. Last of the 8th. 2-1. Down and away. 3 balls and 1 strike. Bottom 9 at the Trop. Astros the 5-0 lead over the Rays. That's good news on the out-of-town board, too. 3-1. Fastball's low. Fastballs for base hits, and Bryson Stott takes a walk. Bases are loaded here in the 8th. Here comes Pete Walker jogging out to the mound. The batter is going to be Gene Segura. Segura is batting 7th in the lineup tonight. Ballpark is really thinned out after the Blue Jays played at 4 in the 8th. Toronto has scored in 7 of their 8 at-bats here tonight. A 14-5 lead. Segura takes a big swing and a miss at the slider. He was guessing fastball, and he got the wrinkle and flailed. Merriweather stands high, and the 0-1. Up the line and right, and that'll twist out a play. No balls and 2 strikes. Blue Jays have allowed a dozen hits to the Philadelphia Phillies tonight. But much like that series in Atlanta where the Phillies left scratching their head, not being able to come up with those big runners in scoring position hits. Now tonight, Phillies are 4 for 11 with runners in scoring position, but the Blue Jays are 9 for 26. 0-2. Outside. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Pressure all night on the Phillies. Kyle Gibson was not good tonight. Blue Jays turned his stuff around. 1-2. Is low. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Merriweather looking for something on the ground. The 2-2. Swing and a miss. That'll work too. Strikeout. 1 down here in the 8th. You know what's surprising about the Philadelphia Phillies? They lead Major League Baseball with runners in scoring position. It's a good hitting club. Just not getting the big knocks. Thankfully, in the 48 hours, the Blue Jays are okay with that while they're in town. Merriweather to Dalton Guthrie. Missed upstairs with a slider. Ball 1. Guthrie came in for Brandon Marsh, who injured his knee on a play at the wall on a drive from the bat of Danny Jansen. The pitch. Fastball's outside. 2 balls and no strikes. Guthrie in his first at bat tonight saw the first pitch from Ross Stripling and collected his first hit in the major leagues to go around the bases. His first major league home run. 2-0. Fastball, called a strike on the inside corner. Generous. Blue Jays have to stir the bullpen here in this 14-5 score. David Phelps is up and loosening. So the 2-1. Outside, 3 balls and 1 strike. Bases loaded around Merriweather. Pitch to Guthrie. That's very high, ball 4. A bases loaded walk. 14-5 lead for the Blue Jays. And now 14-6 with a free pass. This copyrighted broadcast is presented by the authority of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership or the Sportsnet Radio Network. We're at Philly tonight. Matt Vierling, the batter. Where the bases are still loaded. He swings at the first pitch and fouls it away to the right. Strike 1. Top of the order is on deck. 0-1. Slider's low. 1 ball and 1 strike. Vierling is 1 for 3 at the plate. One. Fouled away. 1 ball and 2 strikes. 25 pitches for Merriweather. Working here in the 8th. One, 2. Ground ball up the middle. Backhanded by Biggio. Shovels it over to Bichette to get an out at second base. And the only out the Blue Jays can turn with that dribbler up the hill. Baum comes in from third to score. Stott will take third base. Guthrie is erased on the fielder's choice. – 14-7. Toronto. I'll bring up Kyle Schwarber. Schwarber's had a quiet night. He's 1 for 4. Singleton scored back in the 5th. Certainly felt like a different ball game back in the 5th inning. Schwarber, the left-hand batter, takes a strike on the outside half, 0-1. Blue Jays had what it looked like to be a comfortable 7-1 lead. And then all of a sudden, 4 were plated by the Phillies. And it was 7-5. Schwarber takes soft outside, 1 ball and 1 strike. Triangle defense to the right against Schwarber. Owner of 37 home runs. The pitch. In for a called strike. Big breaking ball snapped off. One, 2. Hit high and deep out to right field. You can forget that one. That's off the second deck. A 3-run no-doubter from the bat of Kyle Schwarber. His 38th of the season. The Phillies have scored 5 runs here in the 8th. It's a 14-10 game. Blue Jays are in front by 4 runs. But that this Lafford looks a little bit tighter. Schwarber got one at his shoulders. And he crushed the fastball hanging out over the middle of the plate. And he banked it off the second deck here in Philadelphia. And John Schneider is forced to make a pitching change and bring David Phelps, the veteran, into this ball game. 2 down. The bases have been cleared on the 3-run homer from Schwarber. 14-10 Toronto. Back at baseball at control. Good evening, Show Ali.
Good evening, Mr. Ben Wagner. And before we get to the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard, some audio to listen to. Dan Shulman, Jay's TV voice, on with Blair and Barker. Here are the guys on the much-discussed topic of who might start in a potential third playoff game between Stripling, who went tonight, and, of course, Jose Barrios.
I even think they're very comfortable with Jose Barrios right now. And who's ahead of who, that's for them to decide, and it could be matchup-based. But right now, I think the way they're handling Stripling is absolutely perfect. You know, he's out there pitching big games every 5 days. They're a little bit quicker with the hook. It is what it is. He gets it. He's not bothered by it. You don't see him arguing with John Schneider when he comes out of the game or anything like that. Not that there'd be anything wrong with that. You like the competitiveness, and he just shows it in different ways. But this is now 6 consecutive starts where he has been good to great, and mostly great, to be honest with you. You know, and I believe the number since Hyunjin Ryu went down for the season, when Ross went back in the second time, I think he's got a 2.47 ERA in like 15 or 16 starts. Like we're way past, boy, this is a nice story. Like, he's in the inner circle of important guys on this team right now.
That's Blue Jays TV voice Dan Shulman chatting with Blair and Barker. This pitching change, of course, brought to you by Certainteed Pro all the way. Quick check of the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard. Major League scores: Astros at Rays. Houston just wrapping up the 5-0 win over Tampa. Kyle Tucker with an RBI double. Jeremy Pena with a 3-run bomb. But if you missed it, another injury note for Shane McClanahan. He flexed his left shoulder in the 5th. He departed the ball game. They're now saying he has been evaluated for left neck tightness and spasms. Tigers at O's. Gunnar Henderson smashing a 2-run shot. Baltimore trails Detroit 3-2. Let's get you back down to Citizens Bank Park in Philly. Here's our very own Ben Wagner with the call of tonight's game.
All right, thanks a lot, Show. David Phelps is out of the bullpen for the Blue Jays, pressed into duty here. But Julian Merriweather tagged for 5 runs here in this long 8th inning. He faced 7 batters and forced Phelps into this game. First pitch knuckle curve in for strike 1. Kyle Schwarber started the day 20 home runs behind Major League Baseball's home run leader, Aaron Judge. He just crushed his 40th of the year. 0-1. Popped up, shallow and right. Jackie Burke. He's there, makes the catch, and that will retire the side. Off to the 9th we go. It's the Blue Jays 14 and the Philadelphia Phillies 10. This is Blue Jays baseball, served up by Jack Link's Meat Snacks on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Just like us at Bears Radio, our friends at Office Revolution really get the game. They furnished a global sports marketing agency in Fulton Market that won Crane's coolest offices. They know work is not just about conference rooms. This space has leather couches, bar stools by the tap, and even stadium seating for brainstorming great plays. Office Revolution knows your office represents your culture, brand, and should be a space where the team wants to work. Visit office-revolution.com to see what they can do.
This September, Chicago Gourmet is going Uberboard. Join host Chef Sarah Gruenberg for Prost in the Park, a new Oktoberfest-style event with chef takes on classic German delights, Upa bands, fun cocktails, and delicious craft beer. From familiar favorites to a big collection of local craft breweries, get ready to toast at this Sunday Fun Day on the Harris Theater rooftop at Millennium Park. Prost in the Park, Sunday, September 25th. Tickets at chicagogourmet.org. Presented by Performance Food Service.
Fantasy football leagues are won on the waiver wire, and with trades, and with savvy starter sit decisions. The Fantasy Football Today podcast will help you along the way with the best advice on how to manage your team and dominate your league. With 8 episodes per week, Fantasy Football Today is the only resource you'll need. Start sit, grade the trade, fantasy cops to settle your league disputes, and so much more. Check out Fantasy Football Today anywhere podcasts are found.
Paid for by the Government of Ontario.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Here's the throw to the bag, and they got him! Lourdes Gurriel Jr. put it right on the money.
On Sportsnet 590, The Fan.
Well, there is nothing like October baseball in person, and you want to watch it all unfold at Rogers Center when it gets louder than any other yard in the league. And the Blue Jays will be right there and part of it. You can too. Postseason tickets go on sale Tuesday, September the 27th at 10 a.m. Mark your calendars and visit bluejays.com/postseason. Coming to you tonight from From the Crown Rust Protection broadcast booth, protect your vehicle with Crown, Canada's #1 rust protection. Book your appointment today. Crown, protect, maintain, save. Former Blue Jay Brad Hand out of the bullpen for the Phillies. Takes over the 9th inning against Vladimir Guerrero Jr. And deals, and the lefty's fastball is outside. That's ball 1. This is a night that has been wild. A combined 24 runs on a combined 31 hits. Blue Jays with a 14-10 lead. And deals. Guerrero fouls off at the plate. 1 ball and 1 strike. Vlad's been aboard a couple of times tonight via an error and a base hit. A foul ball went off the master, JT Realmuto. He's asked for a moment. The home plate umpire is going to oblige. Make sure there's no cause for brain injury or a concern of brain injury. We know what the cause is, but concern of it. One. Curve ball wrapped around the outside corner. 2 balls and 1 strike. Two one. Fouled off to the right. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Big storylines in this ball game for the Blue Jays. Teoscar Hernandez has a 4-hit night. A couple of doubles on a 3-hit night for Danny Jansen, who's also powered home a couple of runs this evening. Raimel Tapia, 2-hit night, driving home 3. Chapman's 27th of the season. 3-run first inning home run. 2-2. Bounce down to third. In between hops, scooped by Baum. Upright and on to first. 1 down in the 9th. Blue Jays with a 14-10 lead. Here comes Bo. Bo's 1 for 4 with a walk and a run scored. The pitch by Hand, swing and a miss. Oh, 1 to Bo. Curveball flopped in there for a called strike. Tigers continue to beat the Baltimore Orioles. They've moved into the 9th inning. They're in the 8th. It is a 5-4 Pirates and Yankees score. 0-2. Ground ball to the right side. Backing up Hoskins. Swats it down. Hand to cover first base, and Hoskins' throw is behind the pitcher covering. It ends up all the way behind the plate. Another challenging ball batted towards Rhys Hoskins. He knocked it down and then threw behind the pitcher, so that'll go as an error. Error on the throw to allow Bichette to reach. That's the 3rd error tonight for the Phillies. Here's Alejandro Kirk. 1 on, 1 out in the 9th. 14-10. Blue Jays on top. The pitch. High and away. Ball 1. And in the 1-0. over the outside half. A called strike on Kirk, and it's 1-1. Bo's got his lead at first in the 1-1. Fastball in the upper outside corner on Kirk, and it's 1-2. Citizens Bank Park, usually a very lively place, is really thinned out. One, two. Outside, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Friends, family, and a section of the fan base that only gets one shot to watch the Phillies perhaps all year, and they're not leaving until it's over. Here comes the 2-2. Curve ball lined into left field. That's a base hit. Bo races towards second, turns the corner, powers down. Runners at first and second for the Blue Jays here in the 9th. Well, the Blue Jays September sprint continues in hot pursuit of the New York Yankees. It's a series that will unfold at Rogers Center the 26th, 27th, and 28th. If you're hoping to catch the New York Yankees, you mean to catch the Blue Jays too. Let's get loud and bring the energy at the ballpark every single game. September baseball is sure to have some of the biggest moments of the season. Get your tickets at bluejays.com. Gabriel Moreno is going to come in and run at first base for the Blue Jays. Santiago Espinal, who replaced Matt Chapman earlier tonight, now gets a 9th inning at bat. He'll take ball 1 from hand. Blue Jays leading 14-10. Runners work their lead. The lefty goes to the plate. And Espinal cracks one to the gap in left center field. That's down for a base hit. Bichette turns the corner at third. He's coming home to score on an RBI base hit for Santiago Espinal. 15-10, Toronto on top. Highlight reel is on fire tonight. Jackie Bradley Jr., who came in for Teoscar Hernandez, gets his first at bat. Lefty on lefty with hand. The pitch. Curveball low and away, ball 1. 1 down. Runners on at first and second. 15 runs on 20 knocks. One 0. Fouled off at the plate. A ball and a strike on Jackie Bradley Jr. We'll turn it around and be here tomorrow night. Joining you across the network at 6:30 Eastern. 6:45 with the first pitch. Zach Wheeler coming off the injured list for the Phillies. Kevin Gausman will be on the bump for Toronto. One. Hit high and deep. Out to right field. Guthrie gets to the wall. Jackie Bradley Jr. sends it out of here. Man, oh man, is this a night for the Blue Jays to ever fly high. If you're in the lineup tonight, you are delivering. Jackie Bradley Jr. tanks one high over the wall in right field. A 3-run home run. 18-10, Toronto. How about the threads for Jackie Bradley Jr.? Finally going over his shoulders with the Blue Jays. And here comes Robbie Thompson to lift the lefty Brad Hand. The Blue Jays have scored 4 in this ninth, an 18-10 lead over the Philadelphia Phillies. Back to baseball control. Let's just shimmy the chair and make sure Show Ali is with us.
Thank you very much, Ben. This pitching change brought to you by Certainty Pro all the way. Before we get to the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard, some more audio to listen to. Dan Shulman, Jay's TV voice, on with Jeff Blair and Kevin Barker. Here are the guys discussing the pitching plans from now through to the end of the season on Wednesday, October 5th for the starting rotation.
There could be any one of a dozen different things on the line. And to me, the most important thing is make it meaningless for the Orioles. Like, don't give the Orioles any hope. But let's say the standings are exactly what they are right now going into that series, and you've got 3 teams battling for 4, 5, 6. I would guess the Blue Jays would really like to be home, would really like to be the 4th team. Do you pitch Alek Manoah in the last game of the regular season to try to get home field? That's a whole other conversation we can have in a week or two. And then there's a whole other conversation about, would you rather be the 5 than the 6, which is, I don't know if you guys have talked about that. And that's a tricky one too. Like, if Seattle's the 4, does it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And 5 and 6 are both on the road, but we don't want to upset the baseball gods by getting into that too early.
That is Blue Jays TV voice Dan Shulman chatting with Blair and Barker. Quick check of the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard. Major League scores: Pirates at Yankees. Pittsburgh now leading 8-4. Brian Reynolds with a home run to tie it, an RBI single to take the lead, and Rodolfo Castro smoking a 3-run bomb off Jonathan Loaizaga. Clay Holmes now in for New York. For the Yankees, Harrison Bader knocking in 3 of the 4 runs to the Yankees in his debut. Guardians at White Sox. Chicago trying to make up some ground on Cleveland for the AL Central lead, though the Guardians are 4 games up entering play today. They're also leading 1-0 tonight so far in Chicago on the south side. Mariners at Athletics. Luis Castillo against JP Sayers, 0 so far in that one. That's the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard. Let's get you back to Philadelphia. Here's Ben Wagner.
A position player in Garrett Stubbs comes into the ball game. Raimel Tapia hits a comebacker. It stuns Stubbs, but he's able to flag it on top of the bump and get the second out of this 9th inning. It is completely unraveled on the Phillies tonight. They are down 18-10. Jackie Bradley Jr. has his first home run as a Blue Jay. That was the deciding factor for the Phillies to either use a reliever or go to a position player. Stubbs floats one in, and a swing and a foul back by Danny Jansen. The Blue Jays have scored 4. The 0-1, and that just misses. 1 ball and 1 strike now on Jansen. Chano rips one up the line and left. That hooks foul. 1 ball and 2 strikes against Garrett Stubbs. Not the first time he's been asked to throw in a blowout. The pitch. Swing and a miss. The loudest Philly has been all night. Stubbs gets the final 2 outs in this 9th inning. The Blue Jays an 18-10 lead. Last of the 9th is next in Philly. This is Blue Jays baseball, served up by Jack Link's Meat Snacks on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Baseball is in full swing. Why not enjoy great?
Just like us at Bears Radio, our friends at Office Revolution really get the game. They furnished a global sports marketing agency in Fulton Market that won Crane's coolest offices. They know work is not just about conference rooms. This space has leather couches, bar stools by the tap, and even stadium seating for brainstorming great plays. Office Revolution knows your office represents your culture, brand, and should be a space where the team wants to work. Visit office-revolution.com to see what they can do.
This September, Chicago Gourmet is going Uberboard. Join host Chef Sarah Gruenberg for Prost in the Park, a new Oktoberfest-style event with chef takes on classic German delights, Upa bands, fun cocktails, and delicious craft beer. From familiar favorites to a big collection of local craft breweries, get ready to toast at this Sunday Fun Day on the Harris Theater rooftop at Millennium Park. Prost in the Park, Sunday, September 25th. Tickets at chicagogourmet.org. Presented by Performance Food Service.
Ball control in downtown Toronto. Jays lead the Phillies 18-10 as we head to the bottom of the ninth inning. Hope we took the over tonight. Don't forget, Jays Talk follows after the final out. Blair and Barker will stick around. They'll take your calls and texts this evening. 590-590 is the text line. Name and location, please. Blair will also throw out the numbers to call after the final out on that St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard. A very positive-looking scoreboard for the Jays. Pirates at Yankees. Pittsburgh leading 8-4. Rodolfo Castro smoking a 3-run bomb for New York. Harrison Bader knocking in 3 of the 4 runs for the Yankees in his debut. Tigers at Orioles. Gunnar Henderson smashing a 2-run shot, but the Tigers do hold on for a 3-2 win over the O's. Astros at Rays. Houston beating the Rays 5-0. Kyle Tucker and Jeremy Pena scoring all the runs tonight. Let's get you back down to Philly at Citizens Bank Park. Here's our very own Ben Wagner with the call.
Thanks so much, Joe. David Phelps will stay aboard. He'll face Bryce Harper leading off the bottom of the ninth inning. Harper, Realmuto, and Baum in an 18-10 lead for the Blue Jays. First pitch from Phelps is over for a called strike on Harper. A couple of base hits, an RBI and a run scored tonight for Harper. Rocking into the windup, Phelps deals. Outside, 1 ball and 1 strike. Harper singled and scored back in the 4th inning, drove home a run back in a 4-run 5th. Philly crawled back into this ball game, but the Blue Jays have erupted for 11 unanswered. Harper swings, pops it up, over the diamond, left side. A sprint by Espinal, charging forward to make the catch. David Phelps said, you know what? An infielder is going to make this play. I'm not going to get myself involved. So it was an absolute do-or-die sprint from Santiago Espinal, who had to race from the shift, and I mean race, sprint all the way in from deep in the middle of the diamond to make that play. 1 down. $18 runs on 21 hits tonight for the Blue Jays. Pitched by Phelps, Realmuto. Missed low, ball 1. Thinking back to that July 22nd chaos that unfolded at Fenway Park. Those are the high water marks for the Blue Jays as Realmuto slams one deep left center field, and that ball's gone. The Phillies get their 3rd home run of the ball game. Number 17 off the bat of Realmuto, who's having an unbelievable night. That's hit number 5 this evening for Realmuto. Home run, 3 singles, and a double. (18-11). I'll bomb the batter. It's chopped away foul at the plate by Baum. Strike 1 in his at bat. Baum fouls it back. One thing the Blue Jays did tonight is they have matched their season high in extra base hits with 10. 0-2 to Baum. Outside. Blue Jays had 10 extra base hits on that wild night in Boston where they plated all those runs. 28 runs on 29 hits. Of the 29 hits, 10 of them were for extras. 1-2. Ground ball in the middle of the diamond. Biggio flags it behind the bag. On the move, throws to first. In time of their 2 down. 2 down in the ninth. 18-11, Toronto. Bryson Stott trying to make everything okay. Blue Jays with extra base hits include a couple of doubles for Danny Jansen tonight. Pitch is low. 2 doubles for Teoscar Hernandez on a 4-hit night. Matt Chapman a double and a home run tonight. George Springer has a 2-bagger. Raimel Tapia with a triple. And Jackie Bradley Jr., the most recent, his first home run with Toronto is a 3-run no-doubter over the wall and right. Cutter misses. It's 1 ball and 1 strike on Stott. 1-1. Ground ball in the middle. There's Bichette. Hits his heel of his glove. Shoots off towards Biggio. And no play. Error on the Blue Jays. Extends the ninth. Deep in the shift at second. That ball came up on Bichette. Hit the heel of his glove and shot off to his left. Gene Segura will hit. Segura tonight is 0 for 4 with a couple of strikeouts. Segura tries to check his swing. Can't. It's a strike on the outside corner. Hey, by the way, early in this ball game, one of the cameramen was struck by an errant throw from Bryson Stott. Check swing by Segura. Did he go? He did. No balls and 2 strikes. We got the update on Art, one of our camera guys. Art Coleman, he was removed from his position today after being struck on that right on the head, running the camera at first base, but he's been given the all clear. CT scan came back, so that's great news. Good news for Art. Swing and a foul back by Segura. No balls and 2 strikes. Something that we referenced at the moment of the play where the throw from Stott sailed over the first baseman, Hoskins, and then struck the camera operator right on the front panel of his cap. Obviously, concern there. We got word from the TV truck that Art Coleman's doing okay, given the all clear after a CT scan. Great news for Art. 0-2. Fouled off to the right. Stays no balls and 2 strikes. Massive night for the Blue Jays. 18 runs on 21 hits. Oh, 2. Chopper to the left side, out of the reach of Espinal. Bichette's got to throw to first. It's not in time. Vladdy with a back pick towards second. Not in time. Stott able to stay at second base. Infield single for Gene Segura. Still 2 out for the Phillies in the bottom of the ninth. 18-11. Win tonight for the Blue Jays would move them 20 games over the 500 mark. Blue Jays finished 20 games over 500 last year. Pitch to Dalton Guthrie, who homered for the first time in the big leagues in his first at-bat tonight. Takes a strike from Phelps. The pitch. Missed high. 24 pitches in relief for David Phelps. Came into this ball game in the 8th inning. Has to soak this 9th. Ball game that features 29 combined runs and 36 overall hits. It's been a wild one. That bullpen is moving around. Somebody's about ready to peel off a hoodie. It might be Yusei Kikuchi. Matt Vierling, the batter. Bases loaded for Philly. The pitch, swing and a miss, strike one. Not a lot of pop for Vierling. 5 home runs this season. Homered twice last year. 0-1. Tried to hold up the swing. Did he take high? No, he did not. First base umpire, perhaps with a reminder that we're well into the 4th hour in this ball game. 0-2 the count. Here's the pitch. Bounce to the plate. 1 ball and 2 strikes. 18-11. Toronto on top. 2 down in the 9th. Bases loaded for the Phils. Vierling, the right fielder, is 1 for 4. An RBI and 2 runs scored. One-two. That's high. Fastball missed, even the count. Phelps is ready. The 2-2 popped him up. This should do it. Underneath it, Biggio and Bichette. Cavan makes the play to finish the ball game. A huge night for the Toronto Blue Jays, scoring 18 runs on 21 hits, 10 of them for extra bases, including home runs from Matt Chapman and Jackie Bradley Jr. Big night at the plate for Teoscar Hernandez and Danny Jansen, all marching to victory here in Philadelphia, 18-11 over the Philadelphia Phillies. The Blue Jays are once again 20 games over the 500 mark, now at 84-64 as they win the opener of the road trip here at Citizens Bank Park tonight. We'll come back. We'll take you through the totals, have our play of the game, and then get you ready for Jeff Blair and Kevin Barker, who are standing by with a late and later edition of Blue Jays Talk coming up in just a moment. Your final score from Citizens Bank Park: the Blue Jays 18 and the Phillies 11. This is Blue Jays baseball, served up by Jack Link's Meat Snacks on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
This game tip is brought to you by the always game-ready Jack Link's Meat Snack.
Just like us at Bears Radio, our friends at Office Revolution really get the game. They furnished a global sports marketing agency in Fulton Market that won Crane's coolest offices. They know work is not just about conference rooms. This space has leather couches, bar stools by the tap, and even stadium seating for brainstorming great plays. Office Revolution knows your office represents your culture, brand, and should be a space where the team wants to work. Visit office-revolution.com to see what they can do.
The listening you love is on the free Odyssey app. Your trusted local radio stations, coverage of your favorite teams, live news from your hometown, and millions of podcasts on demand. Best of all, you can completely customize your listening experience. Follow topics you care about, like leagues and teams. Pause or rewind your local sports and news, and add shows to your queue to catch up later. There's a lot to listen to, so get started and download the free Odyssey app today.
Fantasy football leagues are won on the waiver wire, and with trades, and with savvy starter sit decisions. The Fantasy Football Today podcast will help you along the way with the best advice on how to manage your team and dominate your league. With 8 episodes per week, Fantasy Football Today is the only resource you'll need. Start Sit, Grade the Trade, Fantasy Cops to settle your league disputes, and so much more. Check out Fantasy Football today, anywhere podcasts are found.
Jays scoring 18 runs on 21 hits, 10 of them for extra bases, and rolling to a win. But at times, not clean defensively or pitching-wise, because the Phillies played at double figures as well. Blue Jays with a win tonight. 20 games back over the 500 mark at 84-64. Phillies lose a fifth in a row. They are now 80-67. Blue Jays 18 runs on 21 hits and 1 error. At the plate tonight, the Blue Jays 11 for 28 with runners in scoring position, 8 men left on base. 11 runs, 15 hits, and 3 errors for the Phillies. 5 for 15 with runners in scoring position, 7 men left on base. Zach Popple earned the victory. He's 3-0. The loss to Kyle Gibson, who allowed 7 of the 21 runs, or 7 of the 18 runs tonight in 5 innings. Gibson is 10-7 on the season. 3 hours and 41 minutes worth of baseball that unfolded in favor